What's up, people? We are not starting. Look at that. Attack the chat. Oh, I look so cool. Look at those sparkles and everything. I don't know what they're supposed to represent, though. But anyways, Mr. Alan Shakazine, how you doing today, bro?
I'm alive.
He is alive. And then Allie, are you here?
I am here.
Oh, she's here,
Awesome.
people. Usually you work today. Why aren't you at work? What the fuck's going on? You get fired?
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
That sounds kind of like you did get fired, actually, the way you're like, no.
I didn't
Not
get
yet.
fired. It's called having now a set schedule.
Oh, okay, that is
You got your
important.
set schedule. Mine starts
Yeah,
tomorrow.
I made it work because before when I was in my interview, the manager's like, you need to work these days and blah, 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 blah. And then afterwards they're like, nah, yeah, that's fine. You can just do whatever, like just request off these days, whatever that you can't work, your availability. And I'm like, why did they make it seem like I couldn't?
I had the opposite. They're like, as soon as I was there, it's like, oh, you can't work these days? Sure, we'll figure something out for you.
Yeah, I was like, this scared me. Like, oh my God, you're going to have to work the whole day Saturday. No exceptions. They're like, oh, you can't work Saturday evenings? Oh, it's fine.
Damn, I guess they were just trying to like scare you, like while you were getting set to work there or whatever. Yeah. Yeah, because the thing is, I did this interview at this game place called Game Smash, and I was really, really excited about working there. And the thing is, when I came in, the guy said, like, oh yeah, you're going to have to, like, cut your hair off and shave a little bit of that beard. But the thing is, though, when I came in there, this motherfucker like had like the longest, like, I don't know if you guys ever heard of the band In Flames or Metallica, things like that, but this dude had a beard down to his chest, and he's telling me that I want the job, I gotta shave my shit. I'm like, oh, okay, buddy. I'm sure he was just trying to scare me. But hey, speaking of beards, Christian, how you doing, sir?
You giving me a shout out with the beard today? I don't know if you saw this on the YouTubes. I got taken for a ride for having a beard. I don't know if you
Really?
saw.
Were they talking shit about you? What?
Yeah,
Well, they
sex.
just called me a hipster, which was funny, because like I don't know.
Wait,
it was a
maybe
weird.
it's a beanie too.
Wait, what's up?
Maybe it's a hat thingy too. Your little beanie type thing.
Oh
whatever.
no! This is called Puerto Rican curl. Like if I took this hat off, I'd look like fucking Sideshow Bob, man. You know what I mean? So it's like I'm saving everyone the fucking trouble of having to see it.
Yeah, no, I actually had the exact same problem too, and I didn't know you were Puerto Rican. I'm Puerto Rican too. I don't meet a lot of Puerto Ricans.
There you go, man.
Yeah,
See,
we're
we
done.
got to stick together. This is why there was a natural kinship, and it's because of that, man.
Exactly. Is that Latino flair, Holmes?
Are we on right now, or are we just talking beforehand?
No, we actually are
But
on.
that changed the dialogue at all.
Nice. Yeah. All right. Well, hi everyone. I didn't know what was going on. Can I hijack this quickly? You're Puerto Rican.
ahead.
If you get a chance, read this book called A People's History. It's by Howard Zinn. And so, like, I'm not like a big book reader. I wish I read more, but I read this book and it like really knocked me out because it's like history, but written by the people who were subjugated the entire time, right? So they go through all these different like phases of history, being like, this is what Columbus coming to America meant for the Indians, right? Native Americans, and this is what Reconstruction looked like for African Americans after the fucking Civil War. So it's all like this really interesting thing, and you get this real pride of being Puerto Rican when you realize like all of our collective histories are the same, right? Like we kind of disconnect American Indians from the Indians that we are, like Taino Indians.
Yeah.
And when you like start to realize that we were all just culturally the same thing, and then Columbus came over and it was like the domino, it makes you have this real appreciation for your culture if you didn't already. You know what I mean?
This guy's name, by the way, too, is one of those names that really kind of fit, like, even the discussion now. Like, Howard Zinn, man. Just have Zinn about this, bro. The thing is,
that fucker. Yeah, he's got the best name in the game, for sure.
Yeah, exactly. I'm looking over here, too. There's a couple of chapters in here that might actually seem pretty, not entertaining, but just interesting. Like, slavery without submission, emancipation without freedom. Even at the very end, the 2000 election, the war on terrorism. I'm like, wait, I was alive around then. What the hell? What?
Yeah, well, it's great because they literally go from 1492 to like the September 11th attacks, right? So you get this really intense portrait of like American history, but you get to hear it in a different way. Because like we get like inundated with these stories very early on, right? Like, oh, George Washington and Abe Lincoln, and that's like it's reduced. It's kindergarten information that you kind of you take in, and that's the things you remember. So it's cool to hear like a different perspective and kind of get a bird's eye view of the whole thing. If that makes sense.
I've never been someone that cares about this. I know, like, Allie and Alan and Ganja would actually sit around and watch like history movies and stuff like that too. Even the show, what was that? The Crown? I think you guys watched.
The Crown is dope.
Yep.
Yeah,
It is
I
wonderful.
still I mean, this looks interesting to me to read. I wish is there like some kind of like movie version of this, like an equalize, like equivalent or whatever?
Unfortunately, no. This is one of those things where you have to read. But I'll tell you this. No. I don't mean like I get it.
Great.
Like,
I don't want to read. Where's the movie?
Who's got the time to read? You know what I mean? I get it, but it's not like it's hard. Like it's the most interesting thing I've ever read in terms of like it's true. Like I've read like obviously just to piss off some in the chat here. Potter's the best thing in the world. Everyone knows that. But aside from fiction, right? Like this might be one of the best books I've ever read, and it's not like particularly difficult, you know. So you get to kind of go through these different chapters and learn something, man.
Yeah, man, I'm over here looking at everything in the chat too. By the way, I'm sorry guys for not even like saying anything about the chat, but Chad, thank you guys for watching right now too. And really quick too, I mean, I guess we're not gonna do it now, but I gotta thank you guys for something that has to do with Double Toasting and SoundCloud, things like that too. Speaking of that, do you already have all your stuff pretty much set up for what you guys are gonna be talking about on What's in the Box?
Oh yeah, we have a couple big ones. Black Mirror has some premiere date, and they also had some news about they're gonna do like a fucking R.L. Stein Choose Your Own Adventure.
Yeah,
thing.
what the fuck was that?
I don't know. I'm excited though. Like a part of me was like really shitty about it for about 10 seconds, and then the 6-year-old who would stay up at night reading those R.L. Stein books. Like,
Yeah, it could be good because it's like, yo, press. Well, what's it gonna be? Press like X on a controller or some shit.
Well, see, they
to go like down a path.
Netflix has done something like this before because they have like the Puss in Boots interactive game. You know what I mean?
Really?
Yeah,
But-
it was
yeah,
for the
which-
family, the Netflix family, section, whatever the fuck too. Like I think isn't that what it was, Christian?
Yeah. It was just like, you know, they were doing a bunch of original content for like kids and stuff. So it was literally like, hey, you make a decision. So it was almost like a Telltale game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But so it's definitely really interesting. I mean, I remember being a kid and like reading and be like, if you want to open the door, go to page 6. If you want to run away from the door, go to page 37, right?
Sure.
And I would like go to one of the pages and then hate the decision that I made and just be like, nah, I didn't make that decision, and flip back and choose the other adventure. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't know if we can do that with Black Mirror, but you know.
I really hope that is the case because I do think some of those stories, I feel like I wish I was in there like, wait, why didn't you do it this way? Like, I mean, I don't know, like some endings usually kind of piss me off when it comes to Black Mirror too. Speaking of that too, Allie,
Hi.
do you still watch a lot of Black Mirror or no? Or did you?
I need to get back into it. I keep jumping between shows, but I'm going to eventually get back to like finishing up everything.
Yeah. And I'm pretty sure you're not going to want me to be there because I just sit down and just yell and fucking like complain the entire time
Yeah.
about Black Mirror. Yeah, and that's the thing.
What's your beef with Black Mirror? Can I ask?
Oh God. Okay.
Oh God, don't get him started.
This is the
No,
problem.
I
You guys have
promise.
this whole universe that's already been built. Like, I don't even know why the fucking bird's here. Like, I don't want to ask questions.
Yeah. Why
but-
are you here?
Fuck you, Allie.
Why are any of us here?
Wow, you got existential. I wasn't ready for this.
Okay.
the meaning
Yeah,
of
we
life.
realized that last week. Oh man, I can't wait to do all this cool shit with new people. Nobody knows who the fuck we are.
No, I love it. I just feel like I'm the asshole for not knowing.
Okay,
you know?
the best way to sum this up: Allie's a huge Star Wars fan and likes video games. Nick hates everything, every single thing that's ever happened. And me, I'm kind of indifferent to everything. I hate some things, but I love other things. That's about it.
Yeah.
All right, I like it. Where's Ganja at? Is he not here tonight?
No, he's not.
I'm just not doing
He's
it.
not fighting Nazis.
Yeah,
Hey,
pretty
man,
much.
an admirable cause if ever there
Yeah.
was one.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the thing too. Like, I don't really hate everything, but I will say
Yes,
though,
you
like
fucking
most of the
do.
shit we're talking about tonight, I'm probably gonna be hating. Lots of comic book stuff I do not like. But the thing is about Black Mirror, man, I watched only 2 episodes, and it was season 2, I believe. That's the one with Daniel Kaluuya doing the whole fucking like where he rides and
Yeah, one
exercises
of
for
my
the whole
favorite
show.
episodes. 50 million merits.
Yeah, and like, man, I watched that. I was so mad. And we watched this with a particular person. He's gonna be in the chat too, and he watches you guys as well, Christian. Julian Hemmendinger.
Oh,
And-
thanks.
And you know, sometimes when we, because I'm not gonna talk shit about you, Julian. I promise. Don't get mad at me in the chat, man. But Christian, have you ever watched something with somebody and just that experience alone ruins the entire fucking experience?
Well, I have like these things where like I really love something and then I show it to that person for the first time, but then I'm too wrapped up in whether they're enjoying it or seeing it the way I saw it to have a good time. Does that make sense?
That makes
Like it's
sense.
never been on a first viewing. I've never like watched it with someone and it's been ruined, I don't think.
Yeah, because we were all watching it together as a crew, and Julian was with us, and we watched 2 episodes. And the first episode, I was like, oh, okay, either near or there. I didn't really care too much of that particular season. It was some political thing, and I think at the end he's with a pig or something.
Yeah, that's a very
Okay, so that's my point. That's the first exposure to Black Mirror that I had fucking years ago, and I was scarred by it, and I didn't watch it again until like season 3 or 4 started. I forget which one.
Yeah, and
But that's my point, man. Like it's scary. That's a hard thing to watch.
It's the
I was
best way
gonna
to
be. Oh no, I was gonna say I was gonna be exactly like you. I was about to stop watching, but it's like everyone's like, let's watch another one. I'm like, guys, god damn it! But it's like peer pressure. Everybody wants to watch it together as a family, and we are a family, so everything's cool. We watch it, and Julian was watching it with us, and sometimes some people who like art in movies, they love it so much, in fact, that just a certain shot makes them cream their pants for every little thing. Like you talked about kidding. And I love that. That was actually very, very impressive. The way they switched the room within like 60 seconds, I believe it was, or a minute.
Yeah, I saw that shit, yeah.
Yeah, that was incredible. Great filmmaking, and I love that stuff. But this shit, Julian was freaking out because Daniel Kaluuya looks in the mirror, and he's like, dude, look how, like, it shows outside in the reflection, but then it shows his face, but then he's, like, in a room, and it's, like, dark. Dude, fucking... And I'm like, he just looked into your mirror, bro. He just looked into a mirror. Like,
well, I do want to, man. Okay, so here's the thing. It's like I'm glad that you can appreciate the kidding thing, right? Because it's not about how awesome it is when it comes on screen. You have to really think about how much work went into it, right? So, I mean, I think that's a great thing to be into. But like Black Mirror has some of the best guest directors that come in, and there are a couple shots that are like genuinely gorgeous, dude. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like, I don't want to. I mean, but you haven't watched any of the last 2 seasons, have you?
No, I saw the one that was basically Terminator Salvation. If it was good.
Man, okay, that's like. So the best way to sum up Black Mirror for people who don't know what the fuck we're talking about is they're very short stories. Like you read these in English class. We're like, here's like 10 pages of a short story. It's contained. It has a start. It has a finish. But during through there's some sort of theme that goes through, and the theme with this is technology that can go dark. But it never starts off that way. It always starts off normal. Like one of my favorite episodes, and favorite and hated only because if this ever is real, shoot me in the face. Is the first episode of season 3, and they have the Yelp for people. Where it's like you rate people on a 5-star rating. If that ever happens, kill me, because I don't want to live in a fucking world like that.
Get ready to pick your fucking coffin, guy, because China is launching that next year. It's a social credit system.
Oh yeah, that's fucking real. But it's like
that's
the
great
whole episode,
though.
It's really fucking not, because you see at one point during the episode a breakup happens, and it's like, oh, it feels like no, we're on this person's side. So everybody like downvotes the other person, and that person can't go to work the next day because they don't have a good enough social standing.
Yeah, this was like that episode of Community too, the Meow Meow Beans episode, where it's just like, yeah, you're living in a society that's ruled by the 5s, and the 4s are cool, 3s are the middle class, 2s and the 1s are like untouchables. You know, I remember watching that. That episode's called Nosedive, and it's written, believe it or not, by Mike Schur, the guy who does Parks and Rec. It's a really weird episode, but yeah, so he wrote that, and it's like. That visibly made me uncomfortable. Like, there's a scene where she can't rent a car, and I remember the first time I watched it, I'm like, pause. I'm gonna come back to this in a couple weeks when I'm feeling braver, because it just got way too real, way too quickly.
Yeah, and it does have a start, middle, and ending. And then when you peel it back a little bit, you're like, yeah, this is just something. Shit, we're thinking like, yeah, this could be something that happened there. But what I like about Black Mirror is it's always a self-contained story. There's always some sort of story there via what's going on with the actions, but there's always a subplot there. That it's like, okay, why is this story happening?
Yeah.
And they always drop you in the middle of it, and I love that shit. It's like, it drops you right in the middle, and then you're right back out. You're like, I don't think there's a single Black Mirror episode I'd ever want them to go back to, because I feel like they finished their story. There's nothing else you need to know for any of these characters. There might be a few little tidbits, but nothing you can make another episode of.
Yeah, and that makes sense to me, too. And I kind of wondering, too, like, Allie, right now, with you not watching Black Mirror and stuff, like, what shows are you kind of bouncing around right now? If you can kind of remember them.
Oh, God.
I guess a lot.
Yeah, I mean, right now I've been like going between 2 seasons of American Horror Story. I watched Pose that was on TV not too long ago. Versace.
Oh, no.
Marvelous.
Can you watch something that's not Ryan Murphy produced?
I know, right, man. Okay, I'm gonna be honest. I first started watching People vs. OJ, and I was like, yo, this is so dope. This is great. And then I saw Versace was coming out. Like, this was around the same time I finished OJ, and I was like, oh, Versace. And I found out it was Ryan Murphy, and I was like, oh, okay. So I watched that. Love it. I'm like, okay, I'm just going to watch everything Ryan Murphy now. Because then I saw posts coming out. I'm like, yep, okay, this is great too.
Oh, man.
American Horror Story was the only thing that, like, I didn't watch. I don't like Glee. That would be an exception. But I started watching that, and I got into it. So, like, I've been on a Ryan Murphy just binge lately.
My Lord.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but like I really love his direction.
No. Ryan Murphy has these like peaks and valleys of being.
Yeah.
That's the problem. But then he also has like these really low valleys of like, what the fuck was that, man?
But see, like, it's kind of weird though too, because I kind of see his influences. Like for instance, he did Feud as well with basically it was based off Betty Davis and Joan Crawford's feud back in the 40s.
Feud was great, yeah. Feud and Pose are both really good. I'm not hating on. That's my point. He has the ability to tell these really wonderful stories sometimes, but like American Horror Story, he has run that shit to the ground. Like that has one great season, and then the rest of it is just like moments of great, and then a bunch of terrible. Like
that's true. That's true. Even this current season, like you would think it's kind of like hype because it's going back to the original. Like it's a callback to the original season.
Oh, really? Asylum?
Yeah,
it's a crossover for like season 1 and season 3, so it's Coven and Murder House.
And Coven.
Why? The benefit of American Horror Story is you never need to watch this bullshit. I don't want to go back and watch 3.
I think 3 is really where it starts to fall apart because, and this is just my personal opinion, because that's when everyone died in that season, but then everyone also got revived, and it just made you not care.
And you were talking earlier, pressing pause on something. The trope that I hate in movies, and I will hate this till the day I die, is the person that dies because they help the person out. I hate that fucking trope. It happens the first episode. This guy's trying to help this girl not get raped, gets murdered because he tried to fucking help her. If he did nothing, she would have been alive, and I hate that trope. As soon as it happened, I'm like, I'm fucking done. I'm not watching this fucking season.
Yeah, I'm sure that was really the lesson they wanted to let everyone know.
No, but it's that trope that happens in every fucking show I watch. I'm like, I hate that shit. And then after weeks, everyone's like, yeah, this season's trash. And then I never heard a good thing about American Horror Story since.
But as you were saying, though,
never
like,
watched it again.
Yeah, I guess my voice came through the fucking echoing. But no, Allie, but what were you saying, though, before we start going off about season 3 and whatnot?
Oh, yeah, I agree. Like, season 3 is where it starts kind of going off, and then 4 is just, ugh.
4's rough.
Yeah, 4 is definitely rough.
I suffered watching
That's the one with Lady Gaga?
No, that's Freak Show.
Okay. Yeah, Freak Show. Oh, yeah, man, with Kathy Bates and all that crazy shit that's going on, too, with her fucking beard.
That was bad, man. That was so hard. But I watched it because...
no, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah. Well, I watched it because it was the last season Jessica Lange was in, and she's always, like, really good in that show. So, like, that was the main reason why I kept going. I mean, I was into the story somewhat, of course, but she was the main reason. And I was like, oh, it's the last season, so I kind of want to watch for her. That's the only reason why I continued. Right. But yeah, that season was rough.
Yeah, that's the greatest sin of that show is that it gets like Jessica Lange, who's wonderful, Kathy Bates, who's amazing. Like, and this season, who do they have? Like Joan Collins or something? She's playing the old lady in the bunker. So they get like Hollywood royalty to basically come in and do bad roles. Now Jessica Lange is the exception because I think she got like 3 really good roles out of that. Yeah. Like for as bad as season 3 was, she was not bad in it. She was very good.
Great.
So.
Yeah, man. And by the way, like season 3, and one thing I want to ask you too, by the way, and this is maybe something I should just ask you in private, but you guys were talking about Channel Zero on the show, and Miles was talking about how you guys were getting people telling you to watch American Horror Story. And I'm kind of wondering, like, people are talking good about this show to that extent where they're saying, Miles, Christian, watch American Horror Story. Like, which season are they referring to when they tell you guys to watch it?
I mean, yeah. Well, let's go around because everyone here has watched it. What do you think, Allie? What's your favorite season of that show?
Oh, Murder House, definitely the first season.
Really, Murder House. That's interesting. I'll talk to you about it. Okay. Yeah, next. Who else?
Honestly, season 2. Asylum to me is my favorite one because it has again. Season 3 is my least favorite trope, but season 2 is my favorite trope. Of I love when the devil takes over people. Mm-hmm. I love whenever he's just going around. He's not necessarily being evil. He's just talking shit to everyone around the room. I love that shit. And that's why, like, there's so much crazy shit that even happens within the first fucking episode that it's nonstop craziness, but it just all wraps up at the end in the weirdest fucking way. And yeah, I love that. Like, to me, Murder House took a while to get really going. It took like 4 or 5 episodes before I'm like, okay, I'm into this. I love this Asylum from episode 1.
See, and the thing is, Asylum was good, and I agree with you a lot, Alan. But for me, the first half of Coven was fucking amazing. Season 3, I mean, the first episode was kind of weird, especially when you get to find out that her super powers basically fucking people to death. Like, and I was like, oh wow, that's some shitty shit. But I mean, as you move on and just you see so many characters start changing too, like the main heel, and I guess, I mean, for people who don't know wrestling talk or whatever, a heel is a bad guy. And there was this particular witch girl who was definitely the bad girl. And you start seeing some of the shit that she has to deal with being the apprentice of a fucking worser problem. And just seeing that weird, like, man, who do I root for, man? And like, there's so many like weird shit too. like that big ass dude that was breaking through the door and the zombies and all this shit too. I mean, it was just encompassing all that I like about horror. And then in the second half, they just went random with it. I don't know what I still really have no idea what the context says of the second half of that season. It gets so crazy.
And it just kept getting worse. So it's just like I just at this point I don't think I'm ever gonna go back to it.
Yeah, no, man. And the thing is, like, I try to watch Hotel too, and like this starts off with some dude getting raped with a fucking drill horn.
Oh my god, that was such a weird season, but in a way, I actually really liked it. I'm not gonna lie. I understand though, but I understand though where you're coming from. Like everything you say about it is true, but for like if you get past the weird stuff, like I kind of like the not so.
Man, okay, I want to point this out for both you and Christian. I don't know how y'all could sit through American Horror Story, but none of y'all watch Supernatural.
I mean, I watch Supernatural. The problem with Supernatural is that there's like fucking 16 years of it now, and it's just like, look, I don't have the time, guy. All right,
it's a good show, man. If you
no, it's fine. I've seen I've seen episodes independently and stuff like that, like because they have like Monster of the Week episodes and stuff like that, like X-Files or whatever. And so those are great. I don't hate on it at all, man. I've realized like there's a reason it's been around for this long. Who's got the time, man?
I do. I'm caught the fuck up.
Yeah, but that's my point. Like even now, it's like American Horror Story's in what, season 8? Is that what we're in now? Season 7?
Right? 7, I think. Or is it 8? No, it is 8.
So this is 8, yeah. I was going to say, listen, I actually kind of dug 6. Now, I don't think it's great at all, but I feel like compared to 4 and 5, 6 was like an actual like step up. And I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that its episode count was way less. It was like 3 episodes shorter than most of the seasons. Oh, wow. And I think that's the problem, man, is like Ryan Murphy's good, but he can't sustain 13 episodes, man. Like make it 8 to 10, you know what I mean? And I think he'll be doing much better. But yeah, I agree with you, by the way. 2 is my personal favorite, and it's weird because 2 has schizophrenia. Like, if you can take out that entire alien arc, no one needs that.
No, that alien arc is the best part.
No, the alien arc was completely unnecessary and served no purpose to the main story. I do love Asylum as well. I just found that when I thought about it more and more after I finished the season, I was like, wait, hold up. So if we got rid of this whole subplot, it really would not affect this story over here, and this plot would not affect this story over here. I just started noticing how they had all these interesting ideas, like, oh, we should do this and that and this and that, and they put it all into that one season, and they don't really cross over or connect with each other. It's just kind of there, and maybe for a couple of episodes they'll talk about it, and it'll be the main point, and then by the end, you completely forgot that was even a thing.
No, that's my favorite plot. It's so random, out of nowhere, goes nowhere. I love it.
Yeah.
See, man. But if something that you didn't like did that, you would be talking mad shit.
Oh, you goddamn right. But I loved it because it's so jarring. It goes from like this pseudo-Christian religious thing to, by the way, space aliens, and then the zombies, and back to Christianity.
But then it's like they have the devil over here, and you're not even going to really do anything with the devil.
Yeah.
Hey, but the entire season being Nick and
with a Nazi officer. All of a sudden, that happens.
Oh, don't forget about Anne Frank.
And Anne Frank, and then this dude who's like kills people being Santa Claus or whatever, and then that
guy.
Yes.
Well, that's Ian McShane. He's like one of the best actors ever, so I'm not mad at it. He's just chewing.
See, like you get someone like Ian McShane to be that character, and then.
This is my point. This is what I said. They get amazing actors and then waste them, So I will say this.
Some shit. Let's not pretend.
He was in Deadwood, and that's all that matters. And then he's in John Wick. He's just killing it in John Wick all the time. Anyway, so
is killing it in John Wick.
I just want to say quickly, because like the things I really love about that, like in terms of filmmaking, there is no more effective moment in the entire series than the reveal of Bloody Face. Because you get like the lamp that's made out of human skin, and you see the ashtray made out of a skull, and it's like this fucking perfect moment. But beyond that, my favorite part of the whole season is that you are led to believe that Bloody Face, right, is the bad guy, and his son that is made out of like rape, right, is gonna come back and kill Lana as an old woman.
Oh yeah.
But then you realize that Lana is secretly the fucking villain of this season. You know what I mean? Because she like tricks him into being okay and like accepting this motherly love just so she can kill him. Like she's kind of a villain too. No, of course, it's amazing. That's my point. Like for me, it's like the whole season you're spent sympathizing with this character, and then at the end, like even though look, it's fucked up. I'm not saying she didn't have her reasons, but in the moment, she took advantage of this broken human who just wanted some fucking love from his mom, and then she kills him. So,
I completely saw that differently.
Yeah,
Oh, did
I
you?
was like,
Oh,
I was like cheering for him, like, please kill him. Find a way to survive this.
Oh no! We're all rooting for her for sure. But what I'm saying is, think about the implications of that action. You know what I mean? Like she's luring this person. Like the FBI is like, "Hey, we can protect you. We got you," and she's like, "No, I'm good," and then murders the person. You know? I don't know. It's for me psychologically, it's amazing, and like they haven't reached those heights with the writing since. You know what I mean? Like they have again, every season has these moments that are like, "Holy shit, that was really inspired," but then they can never string it together with a story. You know?
Yeah, man, and that's the thing too. Like, I actually forgot about that fucking ending as well, because that what you just said kind of happens within, I think, like the last episode, and that's it. Like, it's pretty like abrupt. Just like, hey, by the way, like this shit's gonna happen. Like, he's gonna find her and kill her. She's scared, but she's acting like she's scared too, and she fucking just takes care of the situation as well. That was a great way to end off a fucking show and make you feel like, you know what, I'm satisfied. I don't really care if there's season 3 or not. I'm fucking happy. Yeah, man.
That's always been the benefit of this show. Is like, hey, if you don't like a fucking season, skip it. But the last 5 seasons in a row have been apparently just not good. So it's like, fuck.
Well, honestly, I feel like I can't even skip a season anymore because I started watching Apocalypse and I didn't get to Coven because I was waiting for it to get on Netflix. And
really?
but I was really excited to watch Apocalypse because it was Murder House and Coven together. I'm like, oh yes. They're going back to the whole Apocalypse thing for the Demon Baby. And so I started watching that. And then apparently, like, some of the characters they introduced in, like, the first episode are connected from Cult. And I'm like, oh, well, damn it. Now, I guess I should have watched Cult before this. I can't just, like, skip a season now because everything is connected. Somehow, every season is, like, connected. Although I don't really understand how Hotel would be connected considering the apocalypse. So it's like, I wonder if that was an alternate universe. See, that's the thing. It starts
Now you're bringing up alternate universes. That's the fucking problem.
Because it's like Catherine Sidibe is in that season, and then something happens with her, but then she's in Coven too, but then she comes back apparently in Apocalypse, because the Coven going back in Apocalypse, the Apocalypse is before.
You sound like a crazy person right now.
I know, it does with like Apocalypse. Of course, like these, they have nuclear bombs that are falling all over the place, and so every place is like radiated or whatever, radiation everywhere.
Like you should have a cork board. And
dude!
Oh my god! Yeah, just like writing stuff all over, connecting the dots.
That's the Charlie Day from that crazy wall, and it's just like,
Oh man, but really quick, and you guys see, obviously, we're having a great time here with Christian and everything too. And I want you guys to know this as well: is that Saturday, 3:00 CST, I think about 4 hours before we're going to be going on. Christian talks about this kind of shit all the time, and you and Miles get into conversations just like this, flipping the fuck out, talking about theories and whatnot, deep dives and whatnot. So why don't you tell people what you're going to be doing, and I'm going to show this up on screen really quick. Christian, go ahead, sir.
Okay, so, like I said, we're going to do some Black Mirror news, which is really exciting. We're also going to talk about The Mandalorian, which was announced today. It's the title of the Star Wars TV show that Jon Favreau's doing on the Disney streaming service.
Wait, seriously?
Which is cool, dude. I mean, it's like supposedly they haven't confirmed that it's like a relative of the Fett's, but it seems like that's where it's going. You know what I mean? And it's supposed to be like this spaghetti Western take on Star Wars. And they're also looking at Pedro Pascal, who's in Narcos and Game of Thrones.
Oh shit.
Yeah, dude.
That's the best dude in the world, man.
Yeah, right? So, like, my excitement level just went through the fucking roof. I'm really excited about it, in case I wasn't already. And they're trying to release that and the Loki and Scarlet Witch shows all within the launch for that network. We're going to do another trailer for Sabrina, which just came out.
Oh shit! What's up with trailers this week? I mean, I don't know if you can see on the screen. I don't know if you're looking at our Twitch, but our whole show's gonna be fucking trailers. And it's like, dude, people, you can't keep making all these trailers come out because you're gonna stumble upon each other and fuck each other's shit up. Like,
It's the fall series. This is when all the television shows are coming back from their summer hiatuses. So everything, especially CW, they're releasing trailers at the wazoo because all their shows are coming back now.
Yeah. Yeah, man. So I don't know, man. But Christian, yeah, man. People, once again, check out Christian's show. Also, too, on SoundCloud as well. What's in the box? Double Toasted SoundCloud. And then also on the site. But the thing is, though, we're actually going to get our stuff set up. I got to do just a couple more things. So I'm going to put the We'll Begin Momentarily page up. And we'll see you guys in a couple minutes. Don't go anywhere. We'll be talking to you in the fucking chat. Don't go anywhere. I'll see you guys in a couple minutes. And it messed up again. What's up with that shit, people? Our music is just fucking up constantly. I do not know what's going on. But I guess I can add that in post if we're going to be on SoundCloud. What is up, people? It's a Midweek Chat Attack, not the Midnight Chat Attack. The thing is, though, since we're hanging out with you guys here, wait, I saw the pre-show thing. Let me take that pre-show off.
Yeah,
Boom,
I was about to say.
It's like, the whole idea of stopping Nick is that the pre-show is fucking done. But the thing is, people, we are here chilling with you guys in the chat. I see you guys over there talking up a storm. You know what? And I had to put the music on. I'm sorry, Alan, but you know what? There we go. It is on now. Officially, we're starting. I'm gonna show this one more time. There we go. This actually used to be our old After Hours intro. You remember that, Alan?
Yes, I do. We used to use the exact same fucking thing for both the thing we used on Saturday we used during the midweek, and that was for its own thing.
Yeah, I know, it's fucking weird. But the thing is, though, people, we are here's the thing, and I should have brought this up when we first started, but on the side over here, if you guys notice, there's something that every single topic shares, a certain word, and that word is trailer. I don't know what the fuck happened, but we got 7, and not counting shows, technically 8, 9 trailers within, I think, 2 days.
Yeah, I think it was Kirk in the chat. It's a New York Comic-Con or something?
Yeah,
that
New York
just
Comic-Con.
happened?
And then, by the way, Cedric is saying, still the pre-show. Never mind. Yeah, sorry about that, people. My XSplit's fucking up. I need to update it, but I just haven't had the time to do so. And not to mention, VLC's messing up as well. But hey, it is what it is because technology will be what it be. BBM saying too, can you guys do this for less than an hour because I need to go to bed early? I think Christian has to go to bed early too. So,
Yeah, I got a little bit of responsibility. Sorry, guys.
It's all good. We'll make this fast. We'll make this quick because really there's not a whole lot to say about some of these things. But I am Nick Diaz, your host. Hello, welcome. Thank you guys for watching. We got Allison over here. How you doing?
Allison.
I just want to be because Alan, the whole thing.
Just call me Alan.
It's a sign of respect. It's like the formal usted in Spanish. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So you should be happy about it.
I know. I actually want to be better because he was talking to me about Puerto Rican heritage and stuff. I want to be a better person. So
you know what? You're right, Nicholas.
Yeah, thank you very much, Allison. How you doing?
Stop saying Allison. It's really weirding me out.
I'm gonna double on that one, man.
Well, I was gonna call Alan Ali Shakazine, you know.
I got PTSD flashbacks to that name, man.
I'm sorry, man. So, by the way, too, I know Chris probably wait, you speaking Spanish now? No, that's actually Alan's last name is Shakazine. It's quite the name, dude. I think I'm the only one that can say it right. I think, right?
One of the only people I've met in my entire life that could say it without me telling them first. Most people have me on Facebook, but yeah, that is my full name, Ali Shakazine. I go by Alan just because every time I've ever pronounced my name as Ali, they hear Alan anyway. So I just kind of rolled with it.
Yeah, and I can imagine that'd be really confusing too during the show. I'm like, hey, Ali, and then Ali's like, what? What's up? How's it going? And Alan's like,
that's actually an interesting question. When I first came to DT and I posed my name in chat, I just went with my Facebook name, but Ali was already there. So I was like, well, I'm not going to confuse people. I'm just going to go by Alan. The whole Birdman moniker came in later when I finally came on webcam and people saw I had a bird on my shoulder.
You could have been like, she's Allie girl and you're Allie boy. That could have been a cool little thing.
Fuck no, no one knows.
Yeah, okay. The thing is, though, Alan, how are you doing, sir?
I'm doing good. Just school is kicking my ass. So
yeah.
Just going from one test to another.
Oh, yeah. Then you got a new job, too, I'm pretty sure, as well. So, you're doing that shit as well. I mean, Alan's a really busy guy. Everyone's always like, oh, Alan's fucking nerdy. He's always playing video games. No, he finds a way to fit that into his crazy-ass schedule as it is. And that's why he's so Alan. Mm-hmm. And then Christian's over here, too. How you doing, Christian?
I'm well, man. Thanks for having me. Thank you to everyone on the chat as well. It's always a pleasure. I honestly had so much fun doing this last week that I was just trying to see if it was a mirage, or if this is a real deal.
Yeah, man. No, it's actually, and I love you being on everything too. And same with Miles as well. Miles is funny as shit.
Oh, yeah.
Over here talking about Cuphead.
Yeah, he said he might show up later if you were cool with that. I don't know. I haven't talked to him in a couple hours, but maybe.
Yeah, that'd be cool. That'd be awesome. That's the thing too, man. Miles is another one, man. Everybody that's involved in this community, in this small little pantry of people. They're just so fucking busy. Miles will call me. He gets off work at 9 o'clock, and he's talking about the show. His What's in the Box show at 10. Then he makes it to the studio, and it's fucking crazy. Dude. I don't know how the fuck people do this shit. I don't even know how I do this shit sometimes. But the thing is, people, I don't know how you guys are going to be joining the call today because I'm going to be looking at a bunch of different places. I'm going to be looking on doubletoasted.com for the PMs. I'm going to be looking on Facebook. Be looking everywhere because for these topics, if you guys want to come on and talk about this stuff, we bring you guys on to give us your opinion on some of this shit and tell us whether or not we're wrong, which we all know it's going to be mostly Alan that's wrong most of the time.
You hate everything.
I do not. That's not true. I don't know, man. I'm probably gonna be saying. I mean, especially our first topic. Holy shit, man. We're gonna get in a fucking argument over that shit. But the thing is, though, people, if you guys want to come on, you guys can. But there's gonna be rules if you guys get in here, and those rules are Mr. Alan Shikazine. We're gonna go back and forth with this, baby. You tell us the first rule, and I'll do the second one.
Alrighty then, I'm going to show it to me or I'd have to guess. There we go. Okay. Rule number 1, newcomers join the call first. With all sorts of new places we're branching out, we're expecting a lot of people just to pop in. So if you're regular, let somebody else that's new maybe pop in on the mic, say a few words, get them yelled at instead of me for once in a lifetime.
Yeah, and then also, don't talk over each other. I actually almost forgot to even talk in general right now. No, don't not talk over each other. If you guys do, we can't hear what the fuck you're saying. And if you can't hear what you're saying, there's no point for you to talk anyways because you want to be heard. 3, no nudity. Alan showed me his titty once. It was nice.
That never happened.
It was great. I just wanted to my tongue was just thirst. I'm grossed out.
Not in this climate, man. You can't make jokes. Not in this climate, bro.
That's true.
No
I was gonna talk to HR and they're gonna answer. What do you want? Stop talking about my titty.
If you're HR, I quit.
That would be awful, honestly, if I was. Don't give anybody else a link. If you guys give somebody else a link, that's going to be a problem because what happens is they come in and we have a kind of a planned show somewhat. And if they do come in, there'll be way too many voices in here. No one will get their chance to talk and give their opinion out. And then you guys will feel very, very mad at us. Number 5, read the rules. And Allie, girl, if your mom's not around, say what you guys say.
Yeah.
Don't be a dick. Don't do that. That's not nice.
Okay, listen, I think I already broke rule number 4. I'm sorry. I sent that link to Miles. I feel like I fucked up.
I'm sorry, but you gotta go.
What am I
Fired. Everyone fired. No, Miles is okay too, because I probably would have given him a link as well. And sometimes and that's another thing too, people, is that I forgot to bring this up. You guys can message Allie or Alan as well to get a link. If you want to get on, just ask them if we're even able to give you a link to come on. Because sometimes I'm busy. I'm looking at a bunch of different things. I'm looking at the chat. I'm looking at Christian's fabulous fucking beard over there. It's really, really nice. I wish I could do that. Mine's all patchy and shit. Mine's all fucked up. It's ridiculous. So it's all good. I got no idea.
Bad enough, man. It's wanting is half the battle.
Exactly. No, and that's the thing, though. One thing I do want is I want Alan to stop hating on a certain person that I like very, very much.
Well,
a particular person.
Oh my god.
Well, you're gonna see, because I'm gonna win this argument. You know you're not gonna win this shit, right?
I don't give a fuck if I win. Fuck Kevin Hart.
So Kevin Hart's a guy that I like quite a bit. People do this thing just like they do with Walking Dead and a lot of other things. And now me saying that, I'm probably gonna fight with Christian too. But people do have this opinion on certain things where they all share it and they say, "Oh, like Kevin Hart, he's just a loud black guy. He's just another Chris Tucker, another Chris Rock, yelling." The thing is, I see I see Kevin Hart for something different. I think sometimes he can play a pretty good straight man. In Central Intelligence, for half of the movie, he's the straight man.
Half. Which half? Can you notice it? Fuck Kevin Hart. I hate Kevin Hart. Every single fucking movie I've ever watched with Kevin Hart, he is screaming his goddamn fucking head up. As soon as I saw this, I was like, oh man, Bryan Cranston, that's cool. I love him in things. Every time I see him, he's cool. Kevin Hart, I'm fucking out. I ain't doing this shit.
Yeah,
Fuck
people
that.
said that stuff about Will Smith as well, and then he kind of grew out of that as well and did some cool things later
Will
on.
Smith was never as annoying as Kevin Hart.
To you, but there is
a screaming montage. You can get a screaming montage for 50 fucking minutes of every single time Kevin Hart just screams his fucking ass off.
See, the reason why I think so differently about this, man, and I mean, I'm trying to find the trailer. I forgot the name of the movie already. Fucking the Upside
Down
Down.
or whatever.
I literally typed in the Upside Down because I'm used to saying that. But the thing is, though,
Is that the fuck Stranger Things?
I don't know what the fuck. The one thing I will say, though, is that The Upside, this is a movie that is coming out, and it looks somewhat serious. I mean, there's jokes in there and whatnot, too. And Bryan Cranston has had his bouts of being funny and being humorous in his fucking sitcoms and things of that nature. But the situation I'm having here is that with this particular movie, it almost looks like, straight up fucking sad. Like, just completely sad. Because you see Kevin Hart, sometimes he does work with other people. I mean, he did that movie with Will Ferrell, where Will Ferrell was basically trying to find a guy to, like, show him that... Oh, no! It wasn't Will Ferrell. I think it was...
Hard. No, it was Get Hard. Yeah, right? Is that what you're thinking
That was
of?
John C. Reilly, wasn't it?
No, it wasn't John C. Reilly. But I know Kevin Hart did something with somebody, and it was either Will Ferrell or it was the guy from Pixel. What's his fucking name? Josh Gad. I think his name is.
Well, so there's two. Yeah, there's man, fakes to be his best man, right? That's the one you're talking about. Yeah. Okay.
And and that's a movie where I think Kevin Hart did great. I mean, there was really no jokes with Kevin Hart's character, and you see him. And here's the thing too: like back in the day, people say, "Oh, Kevin Hart's just like Chris Tucker or Chris Rock." The thing is, though, is like Chris Tucker when he did stand up, he was still loud black guy. Oh my god, I can't believe it! Whatever the fuck. Chris Rock though had a very, very intelligent thing to say. Chris Rock would have amazing dialogue and shit that would make you think more just like a Louis C.K. would or somebody else would, Ricky Gervais. And I mean, you watch Kevin Hart, it's not all crazy loud stuff. He doesn't even have to be loud.
Okay, but you're taking his stand-up and a few select movies, and you're trying to say, oh man, he's not that bad. This Kevin Hart releases 80 movies a year. Most of which are the character, like, this is probably tone compared to his other bullshit, except for more in the trailer. But, like, what's the other movie that's actually still coming out? It's a Night Shift or Night School or whatever?
Yeah, Night School with
That's
Tiffany Haddish.
more of what Kevin Hart's doing. His screaming, acting like a man-child. He's like Will Ferrell. Like, they share the same fucking, like, almost filmography.
Yeah, somewhat. But go ahead, though, Christian.
I have a real problem with the Will Ferrell and Kevin Hart thing just because of how much like Will Ferrell writes all of his own stuff. But like we're living in a world where there's like Nazis running around America. Like you should save your hate for someone who actually deserves it. Like Kevin Hart is like annoying.
What the fuck does that mean?
You know, like because you're like I fucking hate him and I'm like, well, that's a little strong.
You know what? Don't hate The Walking Dead. You should go fight the war in Afghanistan.
It's just like even in the realm of filmography, right? In cinema, it's like really there's a lot more people that are so much more undeserving of their position than Kevin Hart is.
Yeah, I mean, like you don't care that Nick Cage is going around being fucking weird,
yes,
like,
I fucking
doing
do. I
every
hate Nick
movie in the world. Like he doesn't know how to say no to a paycheck, right? Like Johnny Depp's the same way. No one seems to care about those dudes being crazy. I don't know what the umbrage is with Kevin Hart, man.
Kevin Hart's everywhere is in a lot of either the movies that get a lot of fucking work. It's like no one cares about what the fuck the last 5 Nicolas Cage movies are. I'm pretty sure if we asked the audience, most people wouldn't be able to name the last 5.
Bro, did you see Mandy? Because Mandy is like fucked up.
Yeah, I didn't see Mandy, but like obviously, like even if you include that, you still have 4 more of like Dying by the Light or some other bullshit. It's always direct to DVD shit. And Johnny Depp, it's like he is fading away. Where Kevin Hart, his star has been shining for like 5 years straight of releasing like 5 movies a year and all comedies of him screaming.
But you know how hard it is to do that? Like I think the dude's hustling, man. It's like not easy to put that kind of work in.
I don't want to hear his voice anymore.
I understand where you're coming from, but at the same time, I think comedies in general are starting to get a little bit more, smarter. Like for instance, like Allie, you and your mom to go see, I think, what Girls Trip recently or something, or not Girls Trip, I think it was something else, right?
No, yeah, Girls Trip.
I don't know. Never mind. I guess I'm wrong. No, I could have sworn you and your mom went to go see a comedy recently, and the thing is, I saw this movie called Girls Trip, and I was thinking if that was the same one with Tiffany Haddish and those other girls that are with her.
Yeah, that's Girls Trip.
Okay,
is that the one you confused with A Night Out that has Scarlett Johansson and a bunch of other female in there?
Maybe two, because there's a bunch. They all came out around the same time. That's the thing too, and they were all like equally like popular. You know what I mean? And I remember like when I watched A Girls Trip, and Allie, tell me if you disagree with this or not. But Tiffany Haddish was the Kevin Hart of that movie. She was just constantly like there was parts where. Michael Coulter, the guy who plays Luke Cage, was doing some douchebaggy dude shit like that everyone can basically do. And Tiffany Haddish would Kevin Hart out like I'm gonna get you, motherfucker. Blah, blah, blah. And then you see Night School, and she's the straight woman, and she's fucking like telling Kevin Hart, dude, you're fucking crazy. Shut up, stop being so loud. And it was like. And it's one of the situations where it's like that's a perfect example of how they grow from just because you're black and like nude doesn't mean you have to like be acting crazy. Like that doesn't happen, and people get so used to saying that that's the case. Like it's just like that whole stereotype of like, oh, black guy has to fucking be blah, 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 or yo, what's up, man? And I don't think Kevin Hart's that guy.
I would just like to say quickly, I think it's really a difficult thing to talk about because oftentimes like people of color, like, we're brown, you know what I mean? Like Kevin Hart's black, like you have to come in as a supporting character, as a best friend type, or as a crazy, like that's your roles to break in. Yeah. And then it's on you to kind of like break out from that afterwards. So it's like, I feel bad that like Kevin Hart has kind of got this reputation that all he does is go around and scream and yell because he has done movies that he doesn't do that, but it's also like, that's his way to get in, so now you can make the complaint. Well, now that he's super popular, why isn't he picking better roles? And that's one thing, but still like dude's a hard worker. I'm not a Kevin Hart fan. I don't particularly find him funny, like I agree. He yells a lot, but he's a hard worker and that's hard to like take away, man. You know?
One thing I would say too is like, I always feel like I hate when anyone, even like a Chris Farley or somebody like that too, or even Kevin James, because Kevin James did a couple of serious things as well. And Jonah Hill has completely surprised me with the shit he's doing. You just watched Maniac, and Alan's been watching Maniac right now too. I'm sure you guys are very surprised of Jonah Hill's performance in there.
Oh yeah, he's definitely changed it up.
Yeah, so like, it's just. Oh, go ahead though. I'm sorry.
I was just gonna say, like, I get everything you guys are getting at, like that the stigma in Hollywood and how this has to actually go for people of color to even get in. But it's just one of those things where it's like, it's that whole overpopularity because like people like hate Benedict Cumberbatch for instance because he's in every fucking movie, every time I see Kevin Hart in anything, it's because it's always the most popular thing that always get advertised. Their $300 million fucking budget for advertising. He's always just doing the same fucking role. That's why I haven't watched Nick Cage movies in fucking 20 years because he hasn't changed his fucking shtick since then. Mm-hmm. And it's like every time I see a movie with him, I'm just like, I'm immediately out because I know what I'm getting.
But there's definitely actors who do that, right? Like you know that there are people who like put themselves into the cultural zeitgeist, right? So whether it's like in the silent era, right? The Marx Brothers, right? Groucho Marx. You know those like glasses you put on with the fake nose and the big mustache?
Yeah.
Groucho Marx, right? So everyone at Woody Allen in the 70s and even I guess now, like people put themselves into the zeitgeist. Like honestly, until McConaughey had this like last couple years of his career, he was McConaughey in everything he does, and he's still McConaughey in everything he does. He just slightly changes it, you know?
Yeah, but it's one of those things where it's like I just never liked what Kevin Hart does in general, and then I see it everywhere. Because like I love Liam Neeson, and as schlocky as a lot of his action movies are, I like watching Liam Neeson in Liam Neeson movies because he's just being Liam Neeson. But I like that. I like that because, again, I just feel like it either fits the role, it fits the movie, or it's just not as abrasive or just offensive to my ears. But every time I hear his voice, I just don't want to watch the fucking movie. That's one of the reasons I hated the Jumanji fucking movie.
Oh, yeah, and I love that movie. But I want to ask you, Ali, really quick, do you feel like Kevin Hart can break out of something like this? I mean, Tiffany Haddish did it. So many other people have done it as well. Is it time for Kevin Hart to do that, especially coming up around Oscar season 2? I mean, Bryan Cranston's in this. It might be something pretty serious, but what do you feel?
I don't. I mean, I can't say anything because, to be honest, there have been a lot of comedians that have made the transition to dramas, and they've actually been extremely like amazing. So I can't fully say, "Oh, Kevin Hart could never be a dramatic actor." I personally I look at him and I just don't think drama, just because of like the way his voice is, the way his mannerisms are. But who knows? Maybe he would be just as good as like Jim Carrey or like Steve Carell being dramatic. So who knows?
Because one thing I will say too, because around this same time of year, 2 years ago, there was another movie that came out. Well, actually, there's 2 movies by the particular actor that came out, and one of them was Concussion, and I was like, man, this is fucking silly. You know,
is that the one with Will Smith?
Yeah, Concussion. Yeah, when the NFL
the
movie,
truth.
whatever. Yeah, tell the truth. And now, that was a meme, and it was funny, and blah, blah, Will Smith. But then, like, 2 months after that, or around there, he came out with this movie called Collateral Beauty. And it had Michael Pena on here, Edward Norton, and all these people who have done comedy stuff, too. And then, you have Will Smith in here. You know it's going to be comedy, especially New Line Cinema. New Line Cinema is popular for, the funny horror movies, and then Dumb and Dumber and shit like that, too. So you know that, like, this can be just one of those funny little movies, and it wasn't. And honestly, like, I saw some of this, I couldn't finish the rest, but it was so fucking sad, man. Like, this movie, I don't want to finish it because I feel like I'm going to cry, and I don't like crying in fucking movies. You know what I mean? But, like, that surprised the shit out of me, man. Like, and Collateral Beauty is a movie that many people don't really talk about at all. And I'm just kind of like thinking, like, dude, like, this is one of those situations where this could be the next Collateral Beauty. This can be one of those movies that, if positioned right, and Kevin Hart, he knows his brand very, very well. He knows his audience. He knows who he can kind of at least take a chunk out of to see something new that he's going to be doing, a new project. And if this is it, man, I'm telling you, this will be in the Oscars next year. I really do feel.
I doubt it.
No?
This movie reminds me of, because when you see the movie, he's just taking care of Bryan Cranston, who's like dying or old or whatever. That's kind of movie. Like, we've seen that kind of movie before, but this reminds me a lot of 50-50 with Joseph Gordon-Levitt and Seth Rogen. But it feels like, even though that one was more of a comedy, that one felt like it was more down to earth. With this one, just feels like it feels like they almost have an idea, but Kevin Hart has to do his brand so often that it takes me out of it. Like, if they had an entire trailer of Kevin Hart not doing Kevin Hart stuff, I might have almost been like, okay, but within almost the first scene, he's just doing his thing. I'm like, they're just gonna make jokes the whole fucking time of this guy that's probably dying in his wheelchair.
Yeah, so I mean, we'll see what happens with that. But moving on, man, this other movie, I have never been. I swear to God, dude, when you posted this in the Google Docs for us to talk about this on the show, I was like, man, I don't think I'm gonna give a shit about this. You might be on your own.
They're making a sequel to Miami Vice. Run.
Yeah, exactly. I know, and it's just like a sequel too, where you basically take the rest of the title off and just have like Balboa, Rambo. It's just Vice.
Rambo.
Yeah, fuck the first name, but Vice, man. So this right here apparently is about Dick Cheney and pretty much every other stupid fucking politician. And you would think this is a comedy, but I feel like this might be a little bit serious as well, especially the time that they're coming out with this trailer. Probably, I don't know when it's gonna be released. I think in Christmas. But what were you expecting when you first saw this trailer, dude?
It's funny because like I knew Christian Bale, like he just transformed himself to be Dick Cheney, but I didn't really expect anything until I started watching it. I was like, this guy reminds me of a different actor, and I didn't go out of my way to kind of look it up. But he reminds me of someone else completely. But when I first kind of saw it, my first thought was, wow, they have the balls to make Bush look as stupid as he actually is. Because sometimes when they do these kind of like movies, they're like, oh, Bush was actually a tactical genius. Like, no, he sounds like a fucking idiot. Like, can you help me
What
with
movie
president?
was Bush a tactical genius
No,
in?
but you know how sometimes when they do the president stuff, they try to make the presidents look super smart, like in any movie. This, like, no, he as dumb as you imagine he is. They're like, hey, Cheney, can you help me do president stuff? I don't know how to do president stuff. And Dick Cheney just goes like a super villain, like, okay, but I want to do this, 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 and this. I want to control the entire fucking thing. Can you do it? It's like, yeah, that sounds cool. Like, I immediately was like, okay, this is not the typical biopic that you expect from these people that's trying to make somebody look good, something like that. Everybody looks bad here. Cheney looks like a fucking super villain. Bush is a fucking idiot. And the rest of it is just, it reminded me so much of The Big Short. And then they say from the producers and writers of The Big Short. And I love that fucking movie. That movie just dumps around from character to character and everyone connects. And I can't wait to see this fucking movie. Yeah, Steve Carell is back in there. That's Christian Bale again, and they're both in The Big Short. And I love them in there. So honestly, the cast who's making this and just the trailer itself, like this looks like an amazing biopic that doesn't have to be afraid to what you call it. It has the balls to say whatever the fuck it wants about these politicians. It doesn't have to be afraid to hold back because of fucking political correctness or whatever.
Yeah, no, Allie, I'm gonna ask you really quick. Do you feel like right now we're getting too much political stuff? Like, even if this is something that could be interesting or good or whatever, are you kind of like, dude, yeah, this is a lot with Fahrenheit 11/9 and all this shit coming out? I mean, is this too much? What do you think?
I feel like movies are always reflected on the time period that they're released in. That's for, oh my God, Harley, stop! Don't bark, please. No, but, oh my God, excuse me while I just mute myself for a second.
You whooped that dog's ass. Now, the thing is, though, Christian, while she's beating the fuck out of that dog, I'm going to relay the same question to you, dude. Do you feel like this is too much fucking politics right now?
Well, yeah, no. I mean, if not now, when? You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of crazy shit that's going on right now, and I think that, like, more importantly, and I think the trailer kind of states it as well, like, we look at the Trump of it all, and we're like, how could this have ever happened? And the seeds were really sown during Dick Cheney, man. Like, Dick Cheney's presidency, and I'm not saying that, like, falsely, dude was running shit. Like, you know, and he even says this in the trailer. That's, like, one of the biggest things. Like, when we look at Bush, like, you're right, he's dumb. Like, I've always wanted to believe in my heart that Bush was just an idiot who got taken by evil geniuses named Dick Cheney and Donald Rumsfeld. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And at least, like, that's what it looks like. So I think that it's important to kind of tell this story so you can see how volatile, how xenophobic, how racist, how shitty everything got to lead us to the point that we're at now.
Yeah, and I feel like the current, day of politics is almost serves as context to this, even though this came out before, as far as like, the story goes and everything too, which does help it a lot. And I feel like it's almost like a cheat code in a sense, but hey, if it works, it works, and I will dig that quite a bit. It's
one of those things where I'm glad they're not just picking the current administration, they're picking the administration now, because it acts like, again, a biopic or a documentary where you could play this 20, 30 years later and it'll still work. It's very similar to The Big Short, where The Big Short was talking about the housing crisis and the mortgage crisis that caused the economic crash of 2008. And it's like, you could play that in 30 years and tell people, hey, this actually is still relevant. It depends on how well they do it. Like, Chris said, it's like, it's like when they go to history class or politics class, like, how did we get to that point in 2018? It's like, okay, look at this movie. This kind of like showcases it and does it in an entertaining way. I think that has to be just as entertaining as some of the other stuff we saw. And honestly, in that trailer, it looks like it's going to be just as good.
Yeah, and over here, too, in the chat, I know Kirk is saying Rockwell looks nothing like Bush. I definitely agree, man. I don't think that he looks like him at all.
But he sounds like Bush.
Yeah, I think it's more important to get the essence of someone than to have a direct, like, look-alike. Like, you can put someone in prosthetics and make them look any way you want to, but if you can get the spirit of it, and listen, Sam Rockwell, for me, nailed that shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, and on top of that too, man, you gotta consider as well is that, like, I think Christian Bale is pulling in for that. I mean, if anything, like, he's probably just going for makeup next year, unless Suicide Squad 2 comes out. But
I mean, shit, what was it? He might win the Oscar for best supporting. What was his face? Commissioner Gordon won for Winston Churchill last year. So.
Oh yeah, with Darkest Hour, and Darkest Hour was a situation where that was another movie that everyone felt was gonna be fucking boring as shit. Came out and people loved it. People love Darkest Hour. I know Allie watched it too with Ganja, and she loved it as well. Or am I wrong for saying you loved it?
I didn't love it. But I really like Gary Oldman was amazing. Like I completely understand why he won the Oscar. You know, I wanted my boy Timothy Chalamet to win, but it's fine.
Yeah, that was a performance that it was like a vehicle for Gary Oldman. Like the movie would not be great if Gary Oldman was not in it. You know,
he deserves it. Like he's always been an amazing actor and has never really been fully like I guess recognized for all of his work. So I'm glad that he finally got the recognition he deserved. And I mean this performance is amazing. But I think this is definitely a collective. Like that award is a collective of his work as well. So
I didn't know what Gary Oldman looked like in real life until like last year. I'm gonna be honest, because he blends in. Yeah, you look at him in like The Fifth Element. You look at him in Batman. You look at him in Harry Potter. Like I have no idea who that human being is.
Hey, you forgot RoboCop.
Well, naturally.
Right, well, we were just watching Harry Potter the other day. We've been having a Harry Potter binge, and like Patrick didn't even recognize Gary Oldman. Like he loves Gary Oldman now, and we didn't even recognize that Gary Oldman was Sirius Black until
goddamn chameleon, man. He's amazing.
We literally told him, "Yo, who's that actor?" He's like, "What? Who is that? I don't know who that is." That's Gary Oldman. Like, what?
It's like him and Daniel Day-Lewis. I legit don't know what they look like in real life because they just disappear into the role every time.
Dude,
Bale's almost on that level, man. Because like what I love about that trailer is that he looks physically transformed. Like his face features, the way he's like moving his body and stuff like that. Like that dude is such a great fucking method actor because he will sit there and like get the physicality of the actor, not just like an accent, not just like a speech pattern, every little bit of it.
Nick didn't even know.
Yeah, and, you know, Christian Bale, I do think that like right now he has his fucking hands full trying to do something that's even slightly comparable to what we've seen with Winston Churchill from last year on Darkest Hour. You know, and then you talk about Daniel Day-Lewis. I mean, he didn't like dress up as anybody, but in Phantom Thread, I was like, I don't know who the fuck Daniel Day-Lewis is, but after Phantom Thread, I love this fucking guy. I love him very fucking much. You know what I mean? Like he held that movie on his fucking shoulders because that movie was literally nothing on film. It was just the most empty fucking thing, and he made it great. You know, Alan hates it, but
I would also say Paul Thomas Anderson made it great because I think he's like a ridiculously great filmmaker. But yeah, it starts with Daniel Day-Lewis. Like again, just almost in the same way that Darkest Hour is not a good film without Gary Oldman. It's the exact same thing.
Yeah, exactly, man. But, you know, moving on, you know, talking about all these great actors and all these people just doing amazing shit, we gotta go to Robin Hood. And this is gonna be a quick one, dude. Alan, this is terrible. This is fucking terrible, dude.
Okay, what people need to know about me, and when they start yelling at me I love all the Fast and Furious movies. I love John Wick. I love the Raid movies. I love action. I love choreographed action. I like when people are doing cool shit. I don't care how fucking stupid it is. This has sold me because one, what the fuck's his name? I keep forgetting his fucking. Yeah. Wait, not Sam Worthington. What?
No,
Joel Edgerton, man. I thought he said Sam Worthington, but no, Joel Edgerton. Because I love the Kingsman movies, and I know it's easy to say to hate those, but I love the style of the action in those movies. And when I see this, all I see is, I mean, this is the dumbest thing I've ever fucking seen. This reminds me of King Arthur with that guy from Sons of Anarchy. But as soon as I see the action, I'm like, I'm sold on the action already. I don't care how stupid this is, but it's bows, arrows, swords, shields, horses. I love that shit. And the action looks good. I'm already sold. I don't care what the fuck this movie's about. This looks like some big budget bullshit, but it could be fun. And that to me is what I want. I want to go to the movie theater and have a good fucking time.
Yeah, I mean, you'll see. There's so many things cartoony about this. You got Ben Mendelsohn over here just going, you know, just like fucking losing his shit. You got bad green screen. There's a part where they're fucking like on the horses jumping up and down, you know, like whatever the fuck. And like you can tell the background. It looks like a fucking YouTube video, whatever the fuck, like production there. It's bad. But then you know you get to the parts where it's like, okay, you know what? I just want to have fun. I want to see some action.
Yeah.
And you're right. That bow and arrow might as well be a fucking gun. Like
they treat it like guns, which is dumb, but fuck it, let's have fun.
Yeah, man, and it's like, you know what? This movie is so honestly stupid. It's so, I mean, the movie's basically telling me it's stupid at a certain point where I'm like, you know what? That's the point I was talking about, that green screen. That shit's awful right there, dude. that shit's terrible. But it's like when it comes to that, man, it's not like they're trying to take this as seriously as Assassin's Creed took their shit. They're not taking this as crazy as King Arthur. I forgot who made that movie.
Oh God, it was
Guy Ritchie.
Guy Ritchie. Yeah. The guy does all the crime. Okay, I'm gonna say this. That movie's not as bad as everyone says it is.
It's not, but at the same time, there's a lot of Michael Bay-isms that I feel like if people talk shit about Transformers all the fucking time, then yeah, talk shit about King Arthur, because that fucking shit was ridiculous. That whole movie felt like it was about to lead into, like, and now, current day, Sam Witwicky is at fucking school again. Like,
that could have led it... Okay, King Arthur could easily led into the Transformers 5.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, and I mean, any of them, really, because they all start off with some weird shit like that. I mean, Bumblebee fighting Nazis and all that bullshit. But, you look over here, you got Jamie Foxx not being just some, funny black guy dude. Like, he's important. He's not... I feel like he might not even die in a movie. I think Jamie Foxx is going to be whooping some fucking ass.
No, I don't know if they named... Probably he's going to be Friar Tuck or whatever.
Yeah, but, and then you got him, like... And for me, right now, I'm taking Jamie Foxx very, very seriously.
Alice shaking your head, going, no, I don't want to watch this.
This is going to fail.
Oh, you're right, but I'm going to enjoy it.
Before.
I had to disagree with you, but why do you feel like that way, Allie?
Because, like, this type of, like, filmmaking right here, like the Robin Hood, King Arthur, these, like, never do well. I feel like people really are not interested in this time period anymore. And all these movies just kind of merge together. This is very much like it could be in the same universe as King Arthur. So...
Yeah.
I just don't think this is going to do well.
Yeah,
what about Russell Crowe's? What about Russell Crowe's Robin
Hood? That was bad too.
That was like the most dreadful and most like torturous movie I've ever had to sit in the theater watching. It felt like I was in that theater for 5 hours.
I don't know, man. I've seen like a lot of Medea movies, and those are really hard to watch.
At least with Medea movies, there's something somewhat. They're short, but also something in it can be entertaining at times. At times, okay.
When he's Medea for the 5 minutes in the movies,
exactly,
that's it.
But that 5 minutes,
movie.
that 5 minutes can change everything. Okay.
I'm sure there's 5 minutes of interesting. I've seen Robin Hood, and it's a shit show. Don't get me wrong, but it's Ridley Scott directing a shit show, so it's at least going to be competently directed.
And 4 hours long.
And 4.5 hours long with a 6-hour director.
There's only so much competent directing that just like it doesn't matter if a screenplay is just like dull and lifeless.
Really? Because this is how I felt about the last Jurassic Park movie, where I'm like,
yes, I feel like that too.
Well, no, but my point is that's how good of a director J.A. Bayona is, because that script was horrific, and he somehow Weekend at Bernie propped that dead fucker up and then made it into an interesting movie. Like, it was incredible.
As Gert said in the After Hours, it's the most well-directed piece of shit he's ever seen.
I love that fucking analogy. Like, just like he fucking Weekend at Bernie, that fucking dead pop of the script. Like
really incredible.
It takes a great director to make a piece of shit good.
Yeah, and I feel the same way too, though, about Fallen Kingdom. You hate it because you literally said, Alan, that fucking you don't like the movie because they actually tried. And it's like, what, the effort of trying gives it so many points on my end, because it's like, dude, I know what that feels like to have to work with shit. I'm an editor. I'm supposed to like play with doo-doo.
Tell me how you really feel, Nick. Sorry. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, but just because you tried doesn't... I'm sorry. Participation in awards don't matter if I pay you.
No, but listen, I would argue that Fallen Kingdom is the first of the Jurassic Park movies since the first one to actually have a texture. Like, The Lost World, I know we all try to pretend like Spielberg didn't make a piece of shit, but that movie's a piece of shit. Third one, not good. The reboot, everyone got lost in the nostalgia of it to realize that it was not a very good movie. And beyond that, it looked like a goddamn Verizon commercial. Like, at least this one, like, the dinosaurs had texture. You know what I mean? The world had texture. And again, it's a horrible script. It's not good. I'm not saying it's a good movie. I'm just saying, like, the directing is on point. That's the only thing I'm defending here.
Yeah, me too, though. And, and that's the thing, because I hate that movie as well. But at the same time, it's like, dude, you had to give credit where credit's due, man.
No, I fucking don't. I'm there for 2.5 hours of stupid bullshit.
I love it, man.
Yeah, I can't get behind Fallen Kingdom. I just thought it was awful, and I got bored with it, and this just needs to die and not continue.
But did you like the last one? Did you like Jurassic World? Because that was like fucking horrific.
I only liked that last part with the T-Rex fighting the raptor. Or was it the raptor?
Well, Indominus Rex, whatever the fuck.
Whatever the heck it is. That new dinosaur T-Rex hybrid, which makes no goddamn sense why they would make another freaking T-Rex. It's even more dangerous. But whatever. That was the only part I really enjoyed. The rest of it was just really stupid and just like dragged out and boring. And like following half of it with like these kids that like one of them is just like trying to hit on all these girls and the other kid's like, I'm scared of everything. I miss my mommy and daddy. And we gotta listen to like Chris Pratt and Bryce Dallas Howard over here. Being
because
like,
if you were being
like
chased by dinosaurs,
you.
you would not be scared, right?
No, but this kid was like, he was worrying more about his parents than about like, I don't know, freaking killer dinosaurs trying to kill them. Like,
well,
you know,
he
on
was
this island.
gone. He just wanted a pet.
My mom and dad are breaking up. Like, you should be worried about getting out alive right now, okay?
You know, this is really interesting coming from someone who, like me, loves E.T. You know, and E.T. is a story about like dealing with divorce and shit like that. It's really interesting that's the angle you didn't like.
They made the kids, though, like, really unlikable. Like, E.T. has a foundation of these kids actually, like, you grow connection with them. But Jurassic World just kind of, like, throws you with these kids, and they're like, hey, here, you have to follow these kids.
Yeah.
And it's like, it doesn't give a very, like, organic type of development with them. They're just kind of there because they're Bryce Dallas Howard's, like,
niece and nephew, or no, just nephews.
Yeah.
There ain't no girls there.
Who fucking cares?
Kind of acting like a girl, but still, yeah, like, you know, it's just like I didn't feel like any sort of connection or like these kids didn't feel like real kids.
Well, everything
to me.
was just so ill prioritized. Like, for instance, like, dude,
Yeah.
you know, I have a girlfriend and I love her very much, but I'm not gonna sit there and fucking like talk to her like, hey, baby, blah blah, when I'm about to get attacked by a velociraptor. Like, they're flirting. And they just got done, like, almost being dead. It's like,
well, obviously you don't have game, Nick. I'm sorry to tell you. To be able to throw a one-liner at all times to your girl.
My problem with the Fallen Kingdom is how stupid it thinks the audience is. That the audience has an attention span of 42 seconds. Because it'll say something in one line, and 5 minutes later completely ignore what it just said. Like, they bring up the fact that the dinosaurs can smell really well multiple times in the movie, but every single time where smelling would actually help the dinosaur find the humans, it magically can't smell something 2 feet in front of it, but it can smell you a mile out. Like, the movie is so aggressively stupid, it thinks you're stupid while you're watching it, where you don't care about dinosaurs.
The smell thing is like your Liam Neeson movie, though, the one with the wolves. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Which one is that?
The Gray. I love the Gray.
Wolves.
The Gray
I know, but it's in the whole movie. He's like, you don't know shit about wolves. If they smell you within a mile,
wrong.
Like,
but he admits that, like, right to the end, the entire movie he's wrong. It's not that he doesn't know what he's talking about. He's just fucking wrong. But he thinks he's right. There's a whole narrative of that. He's trying to survive, but he is just bad
I
at
think
it.
that makes it more insulting. Oh, actually, Allie, go ahead.
I'm just gonna say one thing more about Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. I feel cheated because I feel like they promised that, like, oh, dinosaurs, now they're gonna be in our world now. And then at the end, finally, does that happen? That they like go like, oh, there's a neighborhood over here. Oh, now they're in like major cities, and then the end. Like, what?
No,
trailer.
again, that final shot is an exact replication of the final shot of E.T. I'm just saying. I'm just throwing that out there.
No, that's the thing. I would have been more entertained if it actually went that way when they got off the island.
Wait, like dinosaur aliens? Is that what you're saying?
Fuck
You want
yes.
that crossover?
It doesn't
That's
matter. Like,
but no, like, instead of wasting the second half of the movie in this one mansion in this one area, they should have like confined that mansion to like maybe 30 minutes, and then afterwards we go out into the world of some sort, and then the next one's going to be like even more so, but still like have a little bit more of a tease to like the dinosaurs being intertwined with like humans and everything like that. So I just feel cheated. Like, right at the end, it finally gets to the point where I'm like, okay, this is what I was waiting for, and then they end the movie, and I'm just like, what?
Let me make one retort, and then I'll shut up forever.
Yeah.
I promise. Because I know you want to say something, Alan. I'm sorry.
Alright,
That's the one point I think you should give it is that for better or for worse, and there's a lot of worse in this last movie. I'm not defending that. I will say that what they did was definitively take a step forward where you can't just have, hey, we got to go back to the island, dinosaurs, right? Like they've set the series up to potentially completely reinvent itself and to do something new. Right. So like in a way, it's a stepping stone movie. Right. Because like in theory, like what's not going to happen is the next movie's not going to be like, oh, all dinosaurs are stuck on a goddamn island and we have to get some group together. And there's going to be some weird 90s military villain. Because the last two movies have had those. It was D'Onofrio and the Jurassic
last
World.
3 movies.
Well, that's true. You're right. The third one. But I'm not even counting that one, dude, because the third one is so fucking weird. Anyway.
Yeah, it really can't.
So it's like definitively, at least for better or for worse, that they have moved the franchise to go forward. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I guess the last thing I'll say about that, there are maybe 25 dinosaurs left. I'm sorry, what threat is one fucking blue velociraptor going to do when people have machine guns and any sort of defense? I'm pretty sure 3 tanks can take out a T-Rex.
Yeah, no.
Pretty sure about that. And I'm pretty sure that weird shark thing can be taken out by 1 battleship. This is not a problem.
Alan.
Yeah, that's the thing. Because in that sense, like everything can be taken care of with whatever the fuck, you know. What
yeah.
I mean? Like,
yeah, everything can be
that's
solved.
The thing, it ruins all films because, like, even Star Wars, like, well, you guys could have done. It's like, well, we didn't, motherfucker.
But there's a
like,
difference, though. Like the zombie apocalypse, they always show it 6 or 7 months afterwards, and there's millions of zombies. Where, hey, 30 rounds won't do too much. But we know exactly, like, almost to a number, because if you want to count on screen, like, I added a few because there's probably a bunch of pterodactyls we didn't see. But the end of the movie, all the dinosaurs are in this one fucking hallway, and then they all roam free, and there's maybe, like, sub 50. Like, and they're trying to make it seem like the apocalypse has just started. It's like, no, this is not a problem.
I see your point there, and that's the thing that I really want to, and I'm going to bring it all back to, you know, because I actually love this conversation, but the thing is, though, it's like, it all comes back to why you know, even though, and I wrote it even on here, it's fucking stupid. Robin Hood is fucking dumb, y'all. But it's something so stupid it can actually work because everything we just said about Fallen Kingdom and Grey and all these movies is that there's pockets of, holy shit, this is actually really, really good here, and you guys actually have something. I would hate if you guys stumble and fucking, like, fumble the goddamn ball. That would suck. Robin Hood fumbles, not just fumbles, spikes the ball into the fucking ground right before the touchdown. These guys are this is fucking stupid. And it's like now the parameter for trash is so low. I don't know how I can watch this movie and be upset at whatever I see.
I think everyone's trying to capitalize on the Game of Thrones of it all, but what they don't realize is that Game of Thrones works as a long form narrative, right? People aren't interested to come in 2 hours, and also, no offense, I feel like people are stupid now, and no one knows the lore to begin with. You know what I mean? Like. People don't know the characters going in, even though Robin Hood's a story that's been told a fucking billion times, and you should know who Little John is. You should know the Sheriff of Nottingham. Like, those are things that you should know just because it's cultural osmosis, you know? Yeah. That's the problem. Ali said it earlier. It's like they've done so many of these. This also reminds me of the Great Wall movie that, like, Matt Damon.
Man,
wow.
Yeah, so it's just like they don't do well. You know, there's a reason for that.
Yeah, man. But, you know, one thing that does do well typically, even though people will talk shit about it all the time, but DC movies, especially DC animated. We have a lot of people that watch us and our shows and communities and whatnot talking about how good DC animated is versus the live action stuff. Sure. And I got to tell you, man, Alan, I don't know, you know, and I usually start these things off with you, so I'm really curious what you're thinking, but I watched this fucking video for New York Comic Con, the Harley Quinn animated show trailer, and it looks great in my opinion. I love that there's like some Deadpool-ish kind of stuff going on where she's like cussing, they censor it, Batman's in the cage, they're making these fucking jokes. You're talking about this girl, Diarrhea, what's her name?
Yeah.
Diarrhea?
It's for people that, I used to love the show when I was a kid, it was called Daria. And it was just kind of like, you know, monotone, not so much emo girl, but this monotone rebel girl who just kind of went through high school and stuff. And I get a lot of vibes from that, mostly from Poison Ivy, who's basically just acting like Daria, the whole, like, kind of, like, monotone, like, I don't give a shit attitude. But
I've never felt old until you felt the need to explain Daria. Now I'm like, I'm going to die one day.
There are people that don't know what Daria is, and they should know. But it's weird. It's like, I don't like the voice actress for Harley Quinn, and honestly, I'm going to say this straight up. I've never liked Harley Quinn. Ever. From her inception to this day, I've always hated that character. She is loud, annoying, and I hate her fucking voice. But with this, it's like, this almost seems like something I could watch. Just this kind of like laid back, just like, let's just have fun in the DC universe. It doesn't have to be this big grandiose story. It could just be 2 people chilling in a jail cell, like some Shawshank stuff, but without a grandiose story. Like something smaller, down to earth, where it's just like, let's just watch these 2 people just live their lives. And maybe I hope they don't go like too much Deadpool or too much fourth wall breaking. I kind of just want to see a story just with these villains, but I'm curious. I'm curious enough to check out at least one episode with everything that they showed me in this 1 minute.
Now, see, the one thing I really like about this too, because here's the thing, and we'll talk about this later, but, you know, obviously Spider-Man's Into the Spider-Verse trailer came out, and I could be wrong. I mean, it's just something I've noticed. It runs at the speed of 24 frames, where it reminds me of Batman the Killing Joke. It reminds me of the Batman animated series back in the day, and Gargoyles and stuff like that back in the day. And granted, I like that kind of style, but it's like, it's so pretty too. It's like, okay, why are you running at that frame speed? That shit looks odd. And this looks fluent. This does not look like it's at, you know, 24 frames. This is fucking like, this is quick. and it has a competency about it where I'm like, you know what, dude, like this feels like a movie. It doesn't, and even though it's a show, whatever, the animated series, I think that this is something that can go, fit in a movie theater. It looks fucking awesome.
Yeah.
And then like the jokes and everything too, and it being 53 seconds is a huge like. People keep doing stuff like this, like these little teasers, because when it's 2 minutes long, then you end up like giving out everything you're going to be fucking doing. And everybody knows everything, and it ruins the shit. But Christian, did you see the animated trailer for Harley Quinn?
Yeah, I saw it. I mean, I just have a problem with Harley Quinn as a character, but mostly like it's like a feminist thing. It's just like she's a doctor. You know what I mean? Like, but they always make her this fucking crazy like bimbo Staten Island character every time you hear her voice. Yeah. Which is weird to me. I'm not really sure why they do that. As far as DC animation goes, man, like I've long said that DC animation is amazing. Like they do such great work there that it's upsetting that they just can't figure out how to do it live action. And maybe that just says something more to like the cerebral nature of their heroes. Like their heroes work better in a comic book form or an animated form, where like maybe the Marvel stuff is more easily lent to live action. I don't know. But it just makes no sense that the DC animation is always good, but the live action suffers sometimes.
Yeah,
I can answer that question really easily. DC animated stuff has never had a high enough budget for anyone to care. Like, oh, you guys need $20 million for this year? Fuck it, have fun. Oh, this movie is $250 million. Everyone's in on it.
Yeah, exactly, and they have to micromanage and everything like that too.
Exactly.
Allie, you are our resident super specialist when it comes to Harley Quinn and sometimes DC animated as well. What are you feeling about this?
I actually really love it, except for Kaylee Cuoco's voice.
Really? She's that's Harley Quinn, right? I'm sorry, I'm kind of stupid.
Okay. It's not her voice. Like I hear Kaylee Cuoco. I don't, or even if it wasn't her, like I still, it just doesn't sound like Harley Quinn to me. And she has no accent. I'm getting annoyed that they're kind of moving past her Brooklyn accent. I felt like that really was like a staple for her character, and it just made her a little bit more likable. So taking that away felt like it kind of misses the character a little bit. It just takes away a little bit of who she is.
She's still in her infancy, if you think about it. Like her as a character is relatively new. It's like a 90s character.
That's true.
So it's like she's still in her evolution where like if you look at the history of a lot of the villains and even the heroes, like a lot of the things they're known for didn't come until later on. It's not like they had it from the very beginning. So hopefully it's something that they kind of retain, because you seem to really like the voice. I always just felt like the voice made her sound like the fucking nanny, which again, I might be old and know what the hell I'm talking about, but like, okay. All right, I was going to kill myself after the show if you didn't know what that was.
But yeah, I agree too. I didn't like Harley Quinn. One thing I don't like about Harley Quinn too is that she's so just subservient to Joker and everything. I know it's like it's a relationship, it's love, and it's she's gonna get through it too. So it's like a strength for women thing. But it's like just like with Wonder Woman, it's like the emphasis, whatever the fuck. It's like bondage for Wonder Woman. Joker's bitch in a sense. It's like I want a strong female character. I want them to start off strong and end off strong and live strong and fucking take over, not need fucking men to base their shit off. And now this looks like I'm getting that. Poison Ivy, I mean, I don't know much about her story or anything, but it's like her kind of being over Harley Quinn's fucking cutesy, loud, personality. Like I thought that's kind of cool. I think they might do something good with Poison Ivy here. And Harley Quinn not being stuck with Joker and not having, it's not called the Joker show. It's called the Harley Quinn animated series. It's like fucking finally we get something with Harley Quinn.
I'm calling this right now. Her and Poison Ivy are gonna have a relationship in the show,
which is great. I would love that. That'd be awesome. And then obviously let's not go where they have sex or some shit like fucking Batman and Batgirl or whatever the fuck from Killing Joke. Do you feel like that might happen, Allie, at all? Do you think they might go with the lesbian type thing with these two?
I could see it happening just because it seems to be a trend right now.
Would you be upset? Because it sounds like you're kind of like...
And then they'll be related.
Yeah, would you not like that? Because it sounds like you're kind of like, eh.
I don't really have that much of an opinion of it. I don't hate it because, like, Harley and Poison Ivy have always been, like, really connected. But, I mean, at the same... I don't know. I'm not used to it. But, it is what it is. I'm not really against them having a relationship. They're so close, so I can kind of see it.
Yeah, and I support gay rights and gay everything. Like, that's cool. But the thing that I'm having an issue with as far as writing these gay characters and stuff like that, too, is, like, there was a time where I can have two humans in the same room without fucking each other or gain some romantic angle because I was like, well, at least it's two guys. At least it's 2 girls. So hopefully they can not have them, because I think the sex and romance thing is lazy sometimes. I feel like, that's an easy way to just kind of like, get the stakes up. Like, oh, but I love her. I wish there was a thing where like these characters have enough to do and enough reason to be close to each other that you don't have to take it that far and still have a story to be made out of it, right? But this now, I'm getting to a point where it's like, wow, you can't even have 2 prisoners in the same room without going to fucking sex because, hey, who cares about actually making a fucking storyline for both of these characters to the point where there's other reasons why they're going to stick together. So that's one thing I will say I'm negative about any kind of gay stuff because I'm just like, dude, like, even if you're gay, does you have to do the sex thing? Can't you just be gay and then I'm a bro still and I can just have friends?
Gay people have sex, man. I'm sorry to tell you that.
This is just stemming from the fact that if there was a guy and a girl on a show together and they're the leads, they eventually hooked up. It's just the evolution of that.
Yeah, it's just like I don't know. I've always hated like even man and woman. I hate that like you can't just have 2 people exist without fucking each other. Like and I know like that happens. People have sex, but for everything, like I think that maybe people are just people and they could fucking like there's other things in life other than like romance and sex. Just tell a story.
It's an annoying ass trope.
Name it. I'll wait. Name 3 things other than romance and sex. Go on.
Food, oxygen.
Yeah, oxygen, life. Like Sunshine was a movie that I feel like romance wasn't a big thing of that. And like it was like, holy shit, the sun's coming, we're gonna fucking die. Like holy shit, let's do this shit. Like that was a big one. The Shallows, the shark movie thing. Like, there's a girl and a guy out there stuck with this fucking shark, and granted he dies, but it wasn't like we didn't get some big love scene. It was just like, no, it's another person.
In the deleted scenes, there was a subplot about the shark and the guy, and there was a whole. But they had to cut it off.
Movie, that's probably true.
Yeah, or even Consco Island. Like, granted, I think Tom Hiddleston and that girl were liking each other. Were they?
Yeah. They were just there, but they didn't hook up.
Yeah, and that was a cool thing. Is like because there's a big ass fucking gorilla killing dinosaurs and shit. We kind of got more shit important than her vagina. Like I might be squished.
Listen, if a giant fucking gorilla's going around smashing shit, like I'm sorry, my one priority is like I'm about to die, so I should try to find my fiance as soon as I can and just enjoy life.
Try not to die.
Yeah, well, now look, it's gonna happen. That gorilla's gonna get me. All right, I've accepted my fate. You just need to stop.
Yeah, so. Cool. But yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Like, oh, like that's one thing. And here's the thing too. And I know we're talking about a bunch of other movies. And we're talking about something else. But like, The Predator was something I loved. Olivia Munn goes in there, and the jokes are just jokes. It's not something where like Thomas Jane says something about her pussy or eating her pussy, and then they end up hooking up. It's like no, it was just a dumb joke, and they moved on.
That would be an incredible pickup line if he made a joke about eating her pussy and then she let him do it. Like that would be really impressive.
No, that would be awesome.
Sounds like an asshole move, if I'm being honest.
But the thing is like I just like that jokes remain jokes, and they like Olivia Munn. Just because she's a girl, it didn't matter that she had a dick or not. She was a great character and remained a great character throughout the entire thing. And I was like, fuck yeah, like Olivia Munn, like that's one of her best movies ever. Like that was awesome. I fucking love The Predator like so much. Allie, you need to watch that at some point. God damn it. But yeah, aside from that though, Harley Quinn anime series looks awesome. I cannot wait for that. But then we get into something that I'm probably gonna get some hate for. Rocketman. Sorry people, I thought that shit looked stupid as fuck. Alan, please back me up with this.
It's honestly, I'm gonna say this straight up. I am a sucker for music biopics. Okay. I don't care who it is. I love every single one. The one for Johnny Cash, Straight Outta Compton. I can't wait to watch the one for Queen Bohemian Rhapsody. I can't wait to watch this one because I love music biopics. I don't know what it is about it, but as soon as I'm in there, I'm in just with the energy, the music, everything about it. As soon as it happens, I'm in there. And this just to me, it doesn't feel like a cookie cutter biopic. It feels like they're gonna do some similar stuff, but they're gonna introduce a lot of the fantastical elements that his music really showed, that John Lennon's music really showed. And I really think that that's something that I think will differentiate it from Straight Outta Compton, Bohemian Rhapsody, and all the other ones.
Do you think that you like it because it's something that you know how it's going to end? I mean, like, biopics in general are things that you sort of already know the story about, right? And so it's like you're going into it with an understanding of, like, I mean, all biopics, like Ray, Walk the Line, like all these new ones that are coming out, they all follow the same kind of structure and pattern. Oh, we see them beforehand. They had some fucking hard times, but then they persevere, but then they get famous, but then they fuck up there and they have to come back. Like, it's a real repeated thing. So in a way, it's like comfort food. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Do you feel that at all, Alan? Like that's why you like some of these biopics?
Yeah, to a certain degree. It's like that whole underdog story and you get swept up in the light. But I just like that I like when you can tell the story of somebody that's big and you just tell the day-to-day stuff, the kind of almost mundane stuff of just how they started. Because you always see it's like everyone's like, oh man, how do I get started? It's like these biopics always show that it is they have the talent there, but it's also the luck of the draw that they managed to get where they wanted to get. Like with Johnny Cash, like he just happened to find the right producer that just let him do a song. Straight Outta Compton, they just walk in and meet the guy. It's like there's so much luck that people just never think about with this stuff. And it's like, yeah, to a certain degree, I love an underdog story. I think everyone can sit there and appreciate an underdog story. But I guess it's just the energy and the ecstasy that they always throw into these that just, I love it.
Yeah, and here's the thing, too. So, like, and I agree with everything you said. I mean, it makes sense that you're into this. But then this fucking trailer lost me at a certain point, man. So he's over here, and right away, I mean, the crowd's like, okay, that's kind of whatever. And then as this continues on, and I'm kind of feeling
They're all floating,
this motherfucker is floating. And I'm like, okay, biopics is one thing. You just started fucking floating, man. And like, I know, and they even said in the beginning, based on a fantasy, blah, 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 a true fantasy. I'm sorry. That's not based on fucking any kind of true anything. Just say it's a fantasy. Just say, like, we're paying homage to the motherfucker.
What they're doing,
the 70s were weird, bro.
Yeah, like, I'm sorry, but, like, this is... It really? No one's going to call it out for this shit? That's insane.
Okay, because what it's doing is what it's trying to do is it's doing the typical biopic, like I said, cookie cutter formula. But what it's trying to do is a lot of Elton John's music was very fantastic, was very weird. So what they want to do is they want to incorporate that into the actual movie itself and just be like, this is how he felt when he either wrote the song or what people feel when they feel the song. They feel like they're floating away. They do it to a lot of the drug culture, which is a huge part of. So it's like, that's what they're kind of trying to show in this. Instead, they're trying to be like, hey, let's do a basic down to dialogue. It's like, no, let's put some fantasy elements in here to showcase how this music changed people. And I think that's a really interesting thing that it's differentiating it from Bohemian Rhapsody and Straight Outta Compton, which came out which are coming out within a few years of each other. And this is just like, yeah, this is the weird kind of trippy one. And I think that works really well for the person that they want to do this on.
I think the problem with biopics for me is just that like they're run by the estates of the people. Like if they're dead, like Freddie Mercury is dead, so his estate is handling it. And it's one of those things where you're just like, well, they're never going to allow any real dirt to be told about them. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, so it makes it a little bit hard. And I think that the best biopics are ones where you kind of look at the protagonist or the person that you're supposed to be caring about, and you see these really glaring flaws, but you see some of yourself in those flaws. Like, that's what resonates more with me. I think the kind of problem with all of this is like, it always has to be like a big triumph and they need to win at the very end. And you don't get the actual portrayal of someone. You get a very cookie cutter, a very 6 times revised, make sure it looks good for my publicist kind of thing.
Yeah, and that's one thing too is like, and with that said, like I'm totally cool with like a fantasy anything, whatever the fuck. Like, for instance, this is another biopic that came out. Now I wouldn't call it biopic, but basically Metallica made this movie called Through the Never, and you see this thing going on. There's like a narrative going on where this character's, I think it's like a zombie type fucking film, and explosions, apocalyptic stuff, whatever the fuck. And I was like, okay, cool. There's a narrative that I wouldn't get from like listening to Metallica because it's its own story. It's a new thing. New IP, basically. But then, with fucking Rocketman, it's like, okay, you're just going to make weird shit happen while he just plays his fucking songs. Like, I'm sorry, but, like, I would just do drugs while I watch a concert. You know what I mean? Like,
well, again, like Ruth was saying in the chat, like, Elton John's performances are very trippy, are very in that kind of weird mindset. So it does play. It's like again, they made the Metallica movie based on just Metallica's music and how it influenced that. So it's just all this weird zombie rock shit. This is almost the same kind of way, but it's still telling a story. It's just adding in the fantasy elements that people probably felt when they were watching that. The grace that you do by listening to music at a concert with people. They're all floating away to this song, and it's like, yeah, that's fine by me. As long as it's not just like, it has to fit what's going on, and this does fit a lot of his career. So yeah, I'm fine with it.
If those were zombies floating, you would not be complaining, Nick. You'd be like, this is the most metal shit ever.
Yeah, exactly. If there was fire and thunderstorm in the background, I'd be like, man, I'll be the first one.
I would just like Negan behind someone, just like, holy shit, it's a concert in here. That's all I want. Just zombies, Negan, Metallica, I'm good. And maybe Korn or Limp Bizkit or something. I would love that.
So you want a completely different movie. Okay, got it.
See, that's the thing. And by the way, too, when I remember this shit, I'll remember this shit, Alan, when they come out with a fucking Korn biopic. You better love that shit. I'll kill you.
No offense. I don't think Korn is important enough to ever receive a biopic.
Oh, they already got a biopic. You guys are going to... I'll kill you all. Moving
God,
on.
Okay.
They're my favorite band, and everyone talks shit about me with it. The thing is,
actually, we only talk shit because you talk shit about everyone else's favorite bands.
No, fuck you. So the last thing we're going to be talking about to get out of here is Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. Now, we've talked about this before, but the one thing that has changed, and spoilers, so everyone, if you guys don't care to see what's happened or whatever the fuck, like, leave.
And that's an important message. If you actually don't want to get spoiled, movie, do not watch the last fucking trailer.
Yeah, we gotta treat this like a review, honestly, because it's like, dude, I'm telling you, like, the fucking movie is so spoiled. But basically, the Spider-Verse, and I should have known this, but basically, they go into the Spider-Verse and they get all these other Spider-Men from other different universes in Marvel or whatever the fuck, and these Spider people, these Spider-Men, end up showing up in one place. Now, the thing is, though, you get Noir Spider-Man, which is something we're really hyped about, and then they get like this anime girl who's a Spider-Girl, whatever the fuck version. All these people, and then it gets down to a point where, honestly, and I'm going to base this whole discussion on this particular thing, but like Spider-Pig. They have a fucking Spider-Pig. What is it?
It's Spider-Ham.
Oh, okay, that was Peter Porker.
Peter Porker is his name, but it's Spider-Ham.
Oh, wait, I thought that was a joke. That's his name?
That's fucking real. Peter Porker is a fictional character appearing in the American comic book published by Marvel. He's an anthropomorphic, funny animal parody of Spider-Man.
Yeah, see, and this is where it goes crazy, man. Like, I'm sorry. Like, once again, talking about it looks nice. The special effects here, not special effects, graphics, whatever the fuck you want to call it. The art is amazing. But once again, it's running in 24 frames. See how choppy his fucking hand is when he's moving around and stuff? That's some Beast Wars shit, which I love me some Beast Wars. I love me some Gargoyles. I love me some Batman animated. But come on, man, that looks fucking odd. I don't like the way Peter Parker looks. I don't like how they're doing a lot of things, like they're remaking little portions of the Sam Raimi movies with.
Oh, I love that. I love the callback.
I would have, but then it's like the callback's not even good or done right because he fucking even the train part, he doesn't even have his mask off. So it's like it doesn't actually even fit what actually happened in the Sam Raimi movies. They're just like taking little spots from it to make you think it is, but you know what I mean? Like that's whatever. And then like the Deadpool jokes type thing too, like, hey, I used to have my own TV series, my own cereal box, and then these.
That was probably real.
No, it is. Well, I mean, the ice cream was real because that actually I remember buying that when I was a kid. So like that happened, and it's just like, dude, enough with the fucking jokes. And maybe I'm talking like this because I just played Marvel Spider-Man, and I'm kind of sick of fucking Spider-Man right now. It's too much Spider-Man everywhere. It's becoming like the Thanos shit right before that movie came out. They're killing it for me. But now that I said everything I was gonna say, and I'm all angry and all that bullshit, I'm gonna ask Allie really quick. What'd you think of Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse trailer 2?
I didn't see it.
You know what, dude? Honestly, I would tell you, I would give you shit right now, and I'd be like, why didn't you watch it? But it's like, if you're going to watch this movie, you don't want to get spoiled, it's probably better that you don't watch it. So
exactly.
But I'm glad you brought up Ben's point. The reason I'm as hyped for this is, I love Spider-Man stuff. People know that. But playing the game, they did so many callbacks to just not only the movies, they did callbacks to other video games, various level designs, various collectibles would call back to other games, call back to other movies. And this, to me, it's like, yeah, they're setting this universe up, and they're basically not sitting there like you don't know what Spider-Man is. You do know what Spider-Man is, but I'm pretty sure 90% of the audience has no fucking idea who the hell Miles Morales is, and that feels like that the movie's centered around, and that's why I think that this is going to do really well with everyone, because like you get the Spider-Man that you know, but then you get a bunch of people that you don't know. I love Spider-Man Noir. I know Ruthless in the chat right now, he's basically talking about, Spider-Punk. That's cool and all, but Spider-Man Noir to me has the coolest fucking design, the coolest fucking world, and no one knows anything about him. And I can't wait to just give me a little bit of all these different characters. I'll agree with you. I don't like the faces for any of the characters. It just looks weird because I think they're so focused on trying to make the costumes and the world work. Like, because they have some of the villains' faces. It looks weird. It looks like a bad Telltale game.
Yeah.
Or a Telltale game.
Oh, that's fucked up. They're dead. Leave the body alone.
No, I fucking hate Telltale. I'm glad they're dead. And hope they burn in hell.
But Christian, man, what are you thinking of Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse trailer 2? And go easy on me.
I'm not gonna do anything to you, man. You're fine. You can do whatever you want. I ain't mad at you. Look, dude. I mean, Alan's not wrong. I think the faces are a little wonky. But having said that, everything else, like I remember watching that very first teaser they put out months and months ago, and when you saw the taxis and just the way the cities look, the texture of it, that all looks amazing. As someone who is a huge Ultimate Spider-Man fan, I read when Bendis first launched that, and then I was still reading even when Miles Morales took over. I can honestly tell you that that reinvigorated the series. And also, as again, sorry to bring this into it, but as a Spanish guy, it was really awesome to be like, oh shit, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, it really meant a lot to me. So I'm glad that we're finally getting to tell that story, because I think it's really important that other people get that. Also, maybe a little ham-fisted and artistic, but the idea that there are all these multiple Spider-Mans kind of gives you the feeling that like the Dark Knight Rises ending, right? Or like anyone can be Batman. That's the fucking point, man.
Exactly.
And then lastly, Nick Cage plays one of these Spider-Mans. So, I'm in.
Why did it ruin it for me?
No, I mean, that solidifies it for me. Like, I can't wait to watch this movie now.
Yeah, and I mean, here's the thing, too. Like, I'm watching a lot of My Hero Academia, like, in the last few months. And there's this character, this great character. What's his
yeah!
And, like, this Spider Pig thing reminds me of him, you know, and for some reason, and I don't know why, and tell me if I'm fucking just weird for thinking everything's sexual, but it's like, why is he all wet? Like, it's just like, why the fuck is he soaking wet?
We need to have a come to Jesus talk with you, man. We need to put you in therapy, you know, but from a loving place. We don't want to judge you. We just want to help you.
Yeah, he's not wet. Weird, it's weird because when you get all the other people like Spider-Man, Miles, I guess, default Peter Parker, they're all within the same universe. Spider-Ham is this weird different texture. He looks like he's from a different, like, it looks like if you literally took him from his universe that was shell-shaded, but it didn't transfer to a regular universe. It's like that fucking thing of Timmy Turner and Jimmy Neutron when they had the crossover episode.
Or that Family Guy episode where it's Road to the Multiverse and they're doing all these weird shit.
Yeah, no, that's exactly where it's like you take it out and it's like he just looks shell-shaded in a world where he's not supposed to be. But to me, I'm cool with it because they never do that. They've never had the balls to. They'll never do this in a live-action movie. I'll promise you. From Here to the Day I Die, they'll never make this a live-action movie.
But let's not even say that they even have balls in general, because they didn't have balls to make the movie about a Puerto Rican black kid. You know, like, I thought we were going to get our first black Puerto Rican Spider-Man. We didn't get that.
It'll be focused on Miles, but
we're not going to, though. It's not going to focus on Miles. It's focusing on the fact that there's 6 fucking spider people running around.
It's very much through Miles' prism.
I mean, even in the trailer, it's like, it starts off with like, Peter Parker's gonna train, like in the comics, Peter Parker's gonna train Miles to be a better Spider-Man, because right now he probably has a few, like, he probably made a suit, he can walk on walls and stuff, but he's like, I don't know how to fucking make webs. Like, I'm not, because what made Spider-Man be able to do that was because he was into science, so he was able to make the web fluid, make all this cool stuff. So he's probably gonna teach Miles, because we see in the trailer, it's like, hey, press twice, whatever. He's gonna teach him to do all this stuff. So we're gonna see, Miles, like, his character, because they show a lot of Miles' backstory. So it's gonna be Miles doing his thing. We're gonna introduce the Spider-Verse, and they're all gonna join together at the end for something like, hopefully, a better version of Ready Player One. But we like this trailer just so we're gonna get a lot of Miles in this.
I really hope we are. I hope we get a lot of Miles out of Miles. But the thing is, and the reason why, I thought everybody was gonna go and just laugh all day. No, but the thing is, though, is one thing I'm scared of is the fact that, like, what I'm seeing a lot with Miles, and they're even, like, reusing footage for trailers, is his dad, and, like, oh, hey, I love you, son. Oh, God, fucking fag. Like, it's kind of weird that you're so mad that your dad loves you. You would think you'd be like, hey, I love you too, Dad. Like, I don't know, that was kind of weird. Like, we kind of grown out of the anti-love you, other man shit. Like, we kind of grew past that. And yet still, like, oh, don't embarrass me, Dad. Like, fuck you, kid.
Come on, he's a fucking teenager, and his dad went on the microphone, say you love me. It's like, yeah, man, I'd be embarrassed too.
I mean, come on, that's like some cute stuff. I don't know. It's
That's fine, Nick.
But the thing is, too, is, like, they reuse that footage for the trailer or something, and, like, man, there's probably not a whole lot with Miles in here, because you got so much stuff going on with Peter. You got Gwen that's going to be doing her own fucking thing, which no one even likes her, so I don't know whether to bring her in the fucking thing.
Wow, that's a fucking...
Spider-Gwen's comic is actually really fucking good. Like, I was just like everyone else hating on that shit, but then I actually read the first 4 issues, and I was like, okay, it's pretty good, man.
Okay.
Where are you guys getting this hate? Like, she's like the
movies.
Love her.
No, I think it's the movies, because...
Reddit's been talking lots of shit, basically.
That's because Reddit's a bunch of sexist assholes.
I completely agree, but it exists,
yeah. I mean, and I agree with that one in a sense, too, but, I mean, I don't know, it's a weird thing, because it's like, these characters, we've seen so many versions of them, that obviously people are going to be split down the middle, and that's the thing, it's like, okay, well, if we're going to be split down the middle, let's get one thing right. Nope, just throw it all in one fucking movie, and it's like... And I remember saying this with the first trailer reaction. I think I got some shit from people about it. But I was like, man, here's the thing. I know that, like, right now, it's been 2 years since, the Oscars so white thing. So we got a lot of pro-black stuff, a lot of pro-female stuff. And then I was like, man, I feel like lots of these movies are doing things just to get black people and women, like, into it. Which is cool. I'm not going to complain about that. But if that's all you have, then that sucks. And I felt that with the first trailer for this. And then we see trailer 2, and it was like, oh, you guys did that shit for marketing to get all the black people and all the women like, yay, it's us, yay. And then you get the second trailer, it's like, nope, it's just like every other thing. It doesn't matter. It was just a marketing ploy.
Well, let me push back on that, because I think that it's almost more reductive to be like, oh, it's like a film can be for everyone and still feature a black or brown protagonist, right?
Yeah.
Like, it shouldn't just be exclusively like, oh, this was for the black audience, this is for the brown audience, right? As long as the prism is still Miles Morales and we're talking about like a person of fucking color telling a different perspective of a different story, there's nothing wrong with including everyone else. I mean, that's my personal opinion, you know what I mean? But I think it's reductive to say, oh, brown people can only talk to brown people, black people can only talk to black people. Like, because that's what like got me mad about, like, I used the Medea movies earlier, and it's not to like shit on Tyler Perry, because good for him, I'm like happy for a success story. But when in a time where like representation of like black representation or brown representation wasn't at an all-time high, the only movies that were getting made were these like really weird fucking like almost minstrel show movies to me, you know what I mean? And so it's about like good representation. Good representation appeals to everybody because we're humans. Doesn't matter if you're black, brown, white, whatever. Universal stories are universal stories.
Yeah, and I took this less of like, oh, they're what you were talking about, and more of just like, they're telling a different Spider-Man story for fucking once. And they're telling a character that honestly has not got any screen time. You like, again, nobody like diehard Spider-Man fans know, probably even casual Spider-Man fans know, but the general audience has no goddamn idea who the hell Miles is, and I think that's a shame because he's an interesting ass character. And it seems like what we're gonna do, we're gonna get half the movie's gonna, or at least hopefully, I want it to be like, yeah, it's gonna be his origin story, and then he'll meet Peter about halfway, 2/3 into the movie, and then it's gonna be like this whole universe opens up, and it's probably gonna lead to a sequel. Like, I can see this ending off with him going like, I want to now be the Spider-Man, and the next movie could just be all him.
Also, this is Phil Lord and Chris Miller, right? So take the Han Solo thing aside, which, by the way, I think history has proven that they were probably right in that.
Probably going to be worse than the actual movie.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Exactly. Taking really bad ideas and making them somehow okay. So it's like I'm into it, man. I'm gonna like be cautiously optimistic. Everything I've seen from it so far looks fine, with the exception of the faces. But that's something you're gonna have to get over. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and like I said, man, like I feel like this might be cool. I was hyped for that first trailer. The second trailer, I'm like, eh. But the thing is I just want this to be about Miles, man. It's like, I know you guys have told me already. It's like, no, dude, it's gonna be about Miles. Don't worry. But I don't trust Sony. I really don't trust Sony, and I honestly don't trust Marvel either. But I really don't fucking trust Sony. Judging, especially like this whole Venom shit that's going on, and I've seen some screenshots, and I'm like, holy fuck, dude, Venom's gonna be fucking bad. But I'm gonna try to be as unbiased as I can. But we'll see what happens, man. I'm still watching no matter what, though, man. This Christmas is coming out. It's gonna be fucking awesome.
Oh yeah.
And with that said, let's get the fuck out of here. So we've been talking about trailers all goddamn day. Midnight Chat Attack on Saturday, 7:30 CST, probably 8 o'clock CST to be quite honest. But we're not gonna be talking about a bunch of trailers then. We're gonna have a bunch
who knows?
Yeah, who knows? Honestly, they're throwing out so much shit. I mean, I know right now Christian just brought up Chilling Adventures of fucking Sabrina the Witch again, and I'm like, they got another trailer. The first trailer came out like a week and a half ago, right?
It seemed real quick. I'm not going to lie. All of that was really weird. Yo, by the way, quickly, just because this is a feature we're doing on What's in the Box this week, me and Miles. So Walking Dead, believe it or not, and I don't want to like knock on wood if you have wood next to you, the early reviews have come out for season 9, which is the first under the new showrunner, Angela Kang. And I've heard it's the best shit the show has done in like 7 years. So I'm like really like, holy shit, that's exciting. But we're going to go over the top 5 biggest blunders in Walking Dead history because there's so much to choose from. But yeah, man, I mean, there's plenty of like trailers and new TV news out. So if I can do my last pitch, Saturday, 3 CST, right? Did I do that right this time?
Oh, yes.
Nailed it. What's in the Box? Me and DJ Miles, and come hang out with us. All right, I'll be more articulate than I was just now trying to pitch.
Yeah, and that's the thing too. Angela Kane, and I'm sorry, Alan, but we're probably gonna be talking about a lot of Walking Dead in the next week or so.
Oh,
too.
I'm gonna have to watch it, aren't I?
Oh, you don't have to watch. No, dude, you're fucking too behind. Like right now, I think Christian's watching about 24
I'm
episodes.
only 2 seasons behind. There's like 15
listen, I'm currently like I have 6 more episodes, but I've just burned through like 18 in a row, and my brain hurts. My brain is literally telling me to stop. But
yeah, two seasons. That's not bad.
Yeah, I stopped at season 7, so like right after the whole Negan decision thing, and then I was like, I can't do this anymore. But now I've just rewatched all of it.
You know what, Nick? Just for you, I need a TV show to start watching. I'm gonna watch The Walking Dead just for you.
That I love you very much, and that's the thing too. So Angela Kane did a few episodes. She did the season finale of season, or not even season finale. I think it was like the episode right before that for season 7. And she even did the one where, the big cliffhanger. Negan's like, oh, any, mini, money, mo, and the whole thing. So she's done some really, really big episodes. And I gotta say, I fucking love Angela Kane. She even did the one where Negan and Carl have their whole episode where they're just together doing their thing. So, like I said, man, I really feel good about this next season. I really, really do. I just wish the fucking trailers would stop spoiling everything. Honestly, dude, I've had 2 episodes spoiled for me so far.
Well, you can do this thing not read stuff or.
I know. I can't help it, man.
Christian, where are we right now?
It's just crazy. It's I just don't know why they do that.
we kind of can't not.
You're not wrong. I walked right into that one, Alan. My bad.
But I will say though, dude, even if I wasn't into it, the other day I was walking in the room and my niece and nephews were watching TV because they got their their previous sports fucked up, and so they're watching TV, watching AMC. And they are not caught up with The Walking Dead. So they're like, oh, cool, I get to watch season 3 again because they're showing that on AMC right now. And then when the commercial's like, yeah, make sure to watch next Sunday, Rick's last episodes. And they're like, what? I'm like, oh my God. It's like, wow, wait to just ruin the entire marathon. They're going to sit there and watch about 10 more hours of your show today, AMC, and you guys fucked it up.
But that's not a spoil. I mean, everyone knows, man. I mean, that news was huge when it came out. That was Comic-Con. So it's been the talking point for the last 3 months. Do you think anyone who actually pays attention to Walking Dead didn't already know that this was going to be the final year for Rick?
I guess you're right, but it's just imagine they came out surprised. I would have been in tears. I nearly cried on the thing with Allie because she was watching it with me. I nearly cried with Glenn, and Abraham. And then, you get all this other stuff happening. I'm just you guys are ruining the whole. It's just basic TV news. You just don't spoil shit. There's a reason why people say, "Hey, say spoilers before you say something." There's a whole world based on that rule, and not even the showrunners know that. It's just that's crazy to me.
I'm gonna put you in Christian's TV film school. We're gonna make you watch a lot of different shows, man. Just because I feel like you have so much in you, so much potential, son. And
I look forward to that. Hey, Alan's like, yeah, I gotta do that for movies with this motherfucker. No, I'm a choreographer.
Good. Well, tag team. You do movies, and I'll do TV.
Oh, I learned my lesson with Nick.
Make him a better person, little by little.
Oh man, and then and I'll put you both through wrestling. Oh, really? Wait, great. No, I'm joking, Alan. Don't worry.
We're good on that.
But anyways, people. So yeah, like you guys said, or like Christian said, and like you guys heard, Saturday, 3:00 CST on DoubleToast.com. Christian will be doing a show, What's in the Box, covering a ton of different movies for you guys, or shows for you guys, and then obviously you guys can watch us. But then, Mr. Alan Shagazine, why don't you tell them what you guys are going to be doing on Friday, good sir?
Alrighty then. So on Friday, we'll be posting this in the Twitch as well. But we are starting our month of Halloween since it's October, and we're gonna have 4 days. Sorry, we're gonna have 4 weeks of Fridays. We're basically the entire month is planned out. We know exactly what we're gonna do, and we're starting off with playing Resident Evil. Ganja will be here Friday, and he will be the one that will actually be running the Resident Evil 1. So be sure to check that out to see how much he fucks that up because he does not remember playing that fucking game. Hopefully Nick shows up there so that these guys can remember that Resident Evil games only got good at 4 and then 6 and 7.
The first one was fucking amazing still to this day, and I played Resident Evil 2 recently, and it was great. And Nemesis is also very good too.
Okay, to be wrong.
Shit. I'm just saying. And then Code Veronica X, even though it was very, very hard, that was pretty good too.
That game fucking sucks. I'm joking about the other shit. I fucking hate Code Veronica X.
I love Resident Evil.
Code Veronica really is that barometer of fandom. It's the most divisive game in the world. It's like Palestine and Israel, but video games. It's never made sense to me, man.
Yeah, man. I mean, I see where you guys' point is, but I will say, I had fun with that fucking game when it came out. Just to see.
I'm with you. I liked it. I'm with you.
Okay, cool. Yeah, but Alan hates on here's the thing.
You hate on everything. And you hate on everything tonight.
Just to tell Christian something really quick too, because most people are really confused with me and Alan. See, me and Alan love the same thing, same fandom, same everything. We're so much alike. But somewhere in the middle of all things ever, there's a fork in a road, and we just take the opposite of most opposite sides on that particular thing. It's I think our conversations, we would pretty much be in love with each other if we just stopped our conversations after 2 minutes. Because as soon as
you guys are just avoiding an awkward conversation that's going to come up, is what you're saying, right?
No, just it's 2 minutes.
And we don't feel like doing it anymore.
It's 2 minutes, and then right after we pass that, it's it turns into an argument of fuck your thing, no, fuck your thing. But it's but we started off with the same thing, you son of a bitch. It's crazy.
Sorry, Ruthless just said you're about to leave your girl for Alan, and it was the funniest thing I've ever seen.
It's okay. Though, Alan, you do have a nice ass, brother. I just gotta let you know that. But anyways, and by ass, I mean your face. Amino chat, people. You guys can hit us up on Amino too, on Double Toast Amino. That's where we have a bunch of topics and whatnot, talking to you guys about a bunch of things. Helps me out a bunch every time you guys comment or like something on Amino, so please do that. And then obviously on the Chat Attack, you guys go in there, talk to us in the main, chat room, public chat room. You guys can talk to us at all times. Fuck with Alan, tell him he's wrong, tell me shit about food, and argue with me about food like we do all the fucking time. That's the thing we have about the chat too. They love showing me pictures of fucking food. I don't get this generation of fucking people. I do not understand it. Anyways, Alan, Christian, Allie, we're getting out of here. So on a count of 3, Mr. Allen, shake a scene. 3, 2, 1, attack
the
chat. Out of here.
Attack it, people.
Attack it really hard. Touch the face.